Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 3, picks against the spread. SUPERLOCKS. We're still in Survivor, so we're still doing those picks, plus a Cust Corner mini to keep you going through. Always hit the time codes to jump around on the show if that's what you like to do, and smash the like, sub to the channel, sub to the newsletter, and play in the DraftKings Listeners League. It's already 33% full. It's only Tuesday evening. It's going to fill super quickly, even though we made it bigger, so go get your spots right now and download the League Safe app, because we have 2 Pat Mayo Experience special questions in the Pick'em game this week. It is completely free. There's $1,000 in the prize pool, so you may as well go do it. It takes less than 30 seconds, and you could win $400 or $300 or whatever third place plays, whatever it is. Anyway, download the League Safe app and go do that right now. Geoff Fienberg, did you cut your hair to break some sort of curse, to change some sort of momentum? What is going on?
The vibe definitely needed a change. But it was due. I'd gone long enough. Yeah.
You see,
You're right. I looked at it. I was like, I gotta do what I can, I guess. Here. But man, it's nothing I'm not used to. Familiar territory.
When did your Ryder Cup gear show up?
Oh, I got a great hat, a toque, and it's getting toque weather. Shout out to Tim. And my mom was just in Italy, and she brought me back this lovely top that she got in the airport in Rome. So they're obviously all excited there, as am I, to watch. I can't wait. It's my favorite event. It's the sport I'm looking forward to the most at the moment.
Yeah, the Chargers aren't really doing it for you here. Although we do have one of those league safe questions as it pertains to the Chargers, so that will always be fun. Plus, we're going to do a Ryder Cup show next week, because Ryder Cup is next week, so be on the lookout for that. The coin is in studio. Paul is behind the camera, and the only man remaining undefeated in the SUPERLOCKS for the season, it is, no, not me, friends, Tim Cust.
That is not my name.
Pittsburgh coming through for you in a very classy
Sure
game.
did. Yeah, what a disaster that was. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
Well, you did say that you were really pumped that we got 2 Monday Night Football games.
I would prefer 2 Monday games to a Thursday and a Monday game. I'll say that right now. I prefer the doubleheader to Thursday Night Football. So, I would prefer just in an ideal world, just a 1 Monday nighter is fine. But if we're going to have the games and they have to be on prime time, 2 is good. And, look, given that there's a strike going on, we'll talk about that later. This is a great way to put more stuff on network TV. So more football doubleheaders on Monday nights, the way to go.
You realize
I liked it.
But you realize that's not going to be affected to this point in terms of the content that's coming out, because everyone's just banking content. It's going to really affect us next year when football is over.
Well, I think it'll affect, ABC apparently showing 10 additional Monday Night Football games this year.
Yeah,
because they got nothing.
And what is it? CBS is going to start showing Yellowstone too. Those are going to be great ratings for over whatever the hell they're going to try to air.
Anyway, yeah. And my point is, I like the doubleheader over a Thursday game. The doubleheader is fine for what it is. They're better than London games. I'll give you that. We have a London game next week. It's awful.
I did a watch along on the Hammer last night for the second quarter. Dude, it was like an hour and 25-minute quarter.
Ugh.
Between the Chubb injury and what shit show football that was. Oh my God. It was horrible. But I agree. 2 bad football games at one time is better than 1 bad football game. I actually really enjoyed it. Got out of the night like a little plus money, but there was a time where I thought I was going to lose everything. I'm like, oh, I'm a sucker for TV games, and these double headers, they're going to get me. But they didn't get me last night. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Other than that Steelers second quarter where I had to work, took an hour and a half, and I wasn't happy about it.
Why not just schedule 6 games for Monday night? Because at least then, because I'm starting to wonder, is football just really bad television? Because that's all I can figure out from these primetime games. That, like, we get one really great game every 10 weeks, and people are like, oh my God, what a game. And the other 9 weeks is literally just people complaining about how shitty the product is. So you might as well put 6 games on at once and have, like, ABC can run a red zone, and you can just watch that. At least it makes it entertaining.
I would argue the majority of NFL games are just low quality, but when you're watching 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at once,
that is exactly the point I
they
just
like
made.
merge together.
Okay, Geoff, you just repeated what I said.
No, but you said that primetime games are bad quality.
Yeah, like that. Take some of the games from the slate when we watch Red Zone and don't have to watch an isolated game. Move some of those to Monday nights so we can watch a bunch at once, like we do on Sunday.
Yeah, they get the ratings. They're the biggest ratings. They know we're addicted. Like, part of the charm, it's so weird, is just complaining about the quality of refs or the quality of primetime games, but we're not going anywhere. Like, I'm certainly not. Maybe the generations younger than us are smarter and they have other hobbies, but they got me. Like, I'll be dead before I leave that boat of NFL football.
Are you still watching these games, Tim? Because I gave up watching primetime games like 5 years ago. I just watch them in the morning in like 15 minutes.
I watch until I fall asleep.
Okay.
And if it's a really good game, I usually see it through. And if it isn't, I fall asleep. That's just the way it works. For example, last Monday, I was wire to wire with that Bills-Jets game. But I would have been even if I wasn't a Jets fan, because that was a good and exciting game. I got to see the end of the Carolina New Orleans game. I was I was asleep before I saw the end of the Cleveland Pittsburgh game. But I mean, I saw the highlights and went, oh boy, as bad as Pittsburgh is looking, at least my team isn't Cleveland. At least I haven't got $300 million tied up in that.
That was a good call by you.
You guys also live in the worst. Tim will pick on Deshaun when we get to Cleveland, but for all the advantages, Pat, like making content, like that 8 to 9 a.m. hour where you are already ahead of the game in content is so beneficial to you in your time zone. And in many sporting instances, maybe your time zone is preferred. Primetime NFL football or like a World Series game, not that you watch, or an NBA Finals game start time. You're in the death zone for that in terms of North America. Europeans can complain, but these are our leagues.
Well, you're absolutely correct. It is the single worst sports watching time zone that there is, and it's the best time zone in North America, I guess Newfoundland pending, that you can actually create content in. But I was doing this far before I moved to this time zone. Like when I lived where you lived, I wasn't fucking watching the primetime games.
You know, I agree, and we joked, we bet first touchdown just to have a sweat, and then it's bed. But sometimes, I mean, you're in a fantasy match, or you could just go to bed. There's too many things.
What I like about the double headers is that the first game kicks off earlier than the usual game kicks off. So you can get without feeling too bad. Like that Carolina New Orleans game last night ended at a somewhat reasonable hour because it started like an hour earlier.
They're doing, they're like testing all of us. I don't know what the proper words I'm trying to use, but I was listening to like a sports media podcast that they are essentially getting their data on how much and the time zones that will be perfect. There are so many experiments with this Monday night this year. It will be a part certainly of the future going forward. But yeah, they're going to use all the data that they're getting on our viewing habits with these two games, and they're going to maximize it perfectly as to when they actually kick them off, I'm sure, in the future.
Well, let's go back to last week and see how we did. We were one game as a unit between the four of us. We were 2 games under 500 because Cust was 7-9. The rest of us were 8-8, which makes me, Geoff, both 17-15 through 2 weeks. Tim is 15-17, and the coin is break even, 16-16. Geoff and I both got our super locks incorrect. Cust got it right with Pittsburgh on Monday night. He moves to 2-0. We're all still alive in Survivor, despite taking 3 separate teams last week. And the free money teaser, as pointed out on the show last week, the team that was going to burn you, Tim, was the team that burned you.
Yeah, it looked good in the first quarter. It looked good until the interception. Then that game went sideways. I feel like if after they made that pick in the end zone on Allen, the Raiders had a bunch of momentum. The game was very much could have gone in either direction, and then Jimmy G just threw a terrible interception, and the game just went pear shaped on the Raiders. And then it got away from them, and that was that. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I've got a different strategy for this week's free money. I've put it together in a different way, so we'll see if that works.
Is it a money line parlay?
It's not, but I don't want to, for SEO purposes, I don't want to give away what I'm doing. I'm not Geoff. I'm not going to tell everybody all the picks I'm going to make 8 minutes in. But let's just say I'm approaching it slightly differently.
Okay. Let's go to Thursday night. Giants at San Francisco. The Niners are 10-point favorites. It doesn't look like Saquon Man is going to play in this game, so it'll be Matt Breida likely starting at running back for the Giants. What was the spread when we did the show on Sunday evening and we guessed these lines? Because we knew.
I want to say it was 7.5. It was not 10.
Really?
It was 8.5. It was not double digits.
And do we say that felt too low? Because I don't know, because we knew that Barkley was hurt at the time. I don't know if this is reflective of what is going on with Barkley and the fact that he's not playing. Like, I very much doubt they're going to give a running back 2 points on the spread, considering I think I think they have, which is why I like the Giants in this game. Okay.
Against the spread. I think that they have put way too much emphasis on Barkley not being there. I think this line is just too large. Now, the concern is, and why you can't play a teaser, I think, is because the Giants the last year and a half, 2 years, have gotten their doors blown off by good football teams. And that is what we've got here tonight. But it's Thursday night football. Those games tend to be a little wonky. I think the spread is probably larger than it ought to be. I'm not recommending people go gamble on this game. Outside if you wanted to make San Francisco a survivor pick, I don't think it's the worst pick in the world. But I'm going to take the Giants plus 10 here and just I think the spread is just a little fatter than it should be.
The coin is going with you with the Giants plus 10. I mean, I tried this last week with the Niners, Geoff, and I might have a new arch nemesis in Sean McVay based on what he did to lose me that bet with a field goal with no time remaining to just cover the spread. Nice and easy. Didn't make an impact on the game. It was like the Lisa at the beginning of the class with Mr. Bergstrom, where the hell his name was. Just watching football with Homer, talking about that meaningless field goal to cover the spread. Well, that actually happened this week, and it happened to me, so I wasn't very happy with it. So I'm going back to San Francisco. I don't see why this is any different than the Giants and Dallas game from week 1.
Yeah, I'll be on San Francisco as well here. As for me in that beat, I only had San Francisco in our picks on this show, so it didn't cost me anything. I feel bad for anyone that did. Be curious to know, Sean McVay hasn't really addressed it, and the media didn't even ask him about it after the game, which I found a little bit weird. So we'll see if it comes up. Maybe just totally spaced.
Well, there was, going back and watching it, there was a chance that if they got the field goal done quickly, they could have had an onside kick and potentially thrown in Hail Mary. That was their only out to win the game.
Yes.
To actually score the 10 points was to kick the field goal at that time. It just, when you see it and there's zeros left on the clock, you're like, what the fuck is this? And there is, when you go down to the 7th playoff tiebreaker, points 4 is one of them. So you might as well bank the 3 points rather than have not 3 points at that point. I get why it's done. But it just sucks when you're sitting there holding a San Francisco minus 8.5 ticket.
In college, this wouldn't even be a thing because coaches know we respect our alumni. We respect our backers. I feel like those coaches actually would just kick that field goal. In the NFL, it seems a little more rare. I don't know what McVay was thinking, but your 7th tiebreaker, I'm sure he's found that out in the last couple days if he didn't already have that as a reason to probably avoid any conversation about it. This has probably been out there and I should probably have looked into it, but the NFL hates me, so I don't really like looking into things at the moment. I have to assume the Giants have stayed out west.
Does it matter?
Yeah, why would they have left Phoenix?
Well, I assume they're staying out west, and I assume they've requested this because this is one of the most egregious Thursday night schedulings I could ever recall. These Thursday night games are supposed to be regional, within the division, a quick for the team that has to travel. It's usually just a relatively short travel.
Yeah, and they play on Monday night, next week. So this would give them an extra opportunity to, let's just stay out west and then we'll fly home afterwards and we get the extra day of rest.
And this is still an Amazon game. All Thursday night games are Amazon games, right?
Except for Thanksgiving Day, yeah.
Except for Thanksgiving Day. So this is probably, listen, the Thursday night game is usually absolute dog shit. So at least they're throwing them to fairly large market teams to put on. Even if the Giants aren't all that good, you get one of the 5 best teams in football in San Francisco. Maybe they can show some highlights of that Jeff Garcia game with the bad hold and then the comeback.
Well, these were two playoff teams last year.
Yeah.
They were.
Not all playoff teams are created equally.
Well, both of these teams won playoff games last season.
Not all playoff teams are created equally, Tim.
Well, I agree with you, but I'm just saying these are two teams that played in the divisional round of the NFC playoffs last year.
Sure, you had a division winner and a team that came third in their division.
Yes, you're right, but that doesn't invalidate their playoff. They went and they beat Minnesota. And anyway, I don't know why we're focusing on this game. I hope to watch very little of it. I'm not excited for this game.
I lean with Pat. I'll take the better team. They just seem dominant. Fred Warner's the best middle linebacker on the planet right now. He'll probably cause havoc. Good for the Giants in that comeback last week, though.
The Niners were the best team against the spread at home a year ago. They were 7-2, so maybe that flattens out a little bit. But the Giants were also the best team overall against the spread last year at 13-4 in the regular season. And so far, that has flipped back the other way as they've started 0-2 against the spread. So yeah, I'll take the 10. I mean, now that we're at 10, I'm curious to see if the levy breaks on 10, how far we go on this number by Thursday night, because I can't imagine there's a lot of Giants money coming in, at least from the public.
No.
So, yeah, San Francisco, -10. Let's go to Sunday. Bills at Commandos. The Bills are 6.5-point favorites on the road. 44.5 is the over-under. I mean, you don't like the Bills, Tim. This we know. But, Geoff, are the Bills the new Ravens where they're just going to beat the crap out of bad teams?
I'm not sure. Is that the recipe? That's the track record we've been seeing at the moment?
At the moment, because they played when they were playing in sort of the playoff schedule, obviously in the playoffs, and then going into it, Allen looked a bit pressured, and the games have been a little bit closer, or they've outright lost. And even week 1 against the Jets, a playoff caliber team going into the game, and they straight up lost the game against a great defense. That they're not covering spreads, they're not blowing teams out. You play the shitty Raiders, and all of a sudden it's back to running the train, and the Commanders suck as well. So I just assume the Bills are going to pound them.
Yeah, I'm very much enjoying the Commanders. The Bills, they do seem flimsy on a lot of fronts. Really hate this number. I wish I could get the 7, but I can't.
If you got the 7, why would that be? Yeah, you can pull a cam and just ask for 7.5 or something. But why the Commanders? They beat. I mean, Vegas beat the Broncos. The Vegas beat the Broncos, right? And then the Commanders also beat the Broncos. The Broncos are pretty clearly one of the worst teams. And the Bills just kicked the shit out of Vegas.
Yeah, those are very fair points. And I didn't necessarily mean I'm going to take the Commanders at this current number, but if it was higher, I trust their ability to get the back door. And you're probably going to want to throw cold water on this, and I don't even mean this should make him a head coach, but it does seem like what they said they would do, what Bieniemy said they would do, has been as advertised through 2 games against the two teams
against 2 of the 4 worst teams in football, maybe.
Yeah, but why can't they be this year's Giants, the NFC East team that racks up a ton of wins against bad teams? Which would say.
Are you calling the Bills
Buffalo
a bad
in this
team
spot? But no, I'm not. No, I'm not. The Bills. I think you capped it perfectly. Against good teams, the Bills will melt like butter, but against poor teams, the Bills should have their way with things. I like the way you cap that. I like Buffalo here in the game. I like Buffalo so much. They're the first end of a 6.5-point teaser.
So you're teasing
Buffalo down to a pick 'em.
Teams that you don't like? That's your strategy this week?
No, I'm teasing teams I think are certain to win.
Oh my God.
Certain to win altogether. It's sort of like a cheat. Instead of having to do a money line parlay of the spreads or the money line parlay, I can just tease them all down. I think this is going to work for me.
Okay, we'll see about that. So you're taking Washington then, Geoff?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to take Buffalo, but I think this could be close, and I do trust Washington to get the back door. But I don't have any interest in betting it at all, at the moment at least.
What a roundabout way of taking Buffalo.
No,
Yeah.
all I said was I would have liked, if it was a 7, I would be a lot more inclined. That was essentially all I was saying. I thought maybe you get a 7, but Washington is, I don't know, they're fancy. I don't want to say fancy, but people seem to be enjoying them at the moment.
I am. They were the last pick in our team total win draft, and I've already got 2 wins banked for them.
You do.
Like
but
'em.
looking at it, I mean, they play Chicago in 2 weeks, and that they might be 3-14.
Maybe. But I don't know. They and the Giants, they are a great match for the Giants. As
Okay.
we learned last year, like styles make fights. I don't know. I'm inclined to think through 2 weeks, maybe the Commanders could be last year's Giants.
So
They could win enough games in a weak conference to make the playoffs and be terrible.
I will agree with Pat in the sense that we probably still know nothing. And week 3, as we've seen in the past, there have been some crazy upsets because NFL fans, casuals, even some sharps, they think they already know these teams. They've seen 2 games, and I know what you are. Well, sometimes that isn't the case, and maybe we need to tread lightly with Washington. At the same time, like, you've been hating on Washington from absolute go. Great call. You took Arizona on the spread. I even mean like in the offseason futures conversations, and that bled into you super locking Arizona to a win in week 1. But I don't know. I do believe they deserve quite a bit more credit than you want to give them.
Why? Because they got down by 3 touchdowns against Denver, who sucks?
Because they've shown that they do have the collection of weapons that we knew they had on offense could score a lot of points and could move the football. And both those games, despite the quality of opponent, maybe this is a knock, they needed to do things in both of those games in the fourth quarter, and they executed perfectly in much respects offensively.
Well, here's a good note for the Washington side of things, unless you just want to bet the under in this game. Unders are 11-3 since the beginning of 2021 when the Bills are a road favorite, and unders are 9-2 in that same time when the Commanders are a home dog. So if it does play to the under, that's probably better for Washington.
Yeah, unless it's like 20-6.
And I acknowledge I said a lot of words in support of Washington,
And you're
only
not
to be
taking them.
picking Buffalo
Yeah,
through this
they're great.
entire.
The dynamic offense, the Commanders put up 20 on
I hope he
Arizona.
takes Buffalo. I hope he takes Buffalo as his survivor pick.
No, I burned them last week.
Oh, did you? I'm only worried about me.
No, that's
Now
fair
that I'm
for you
through.
not-
Now that I'm through 2 weeks, I think I've got like a 50% chance of getting through 18 weeks.
Have we all ever been through 2 weeks in like 8 years?
I don't
It's
think
been
so,
a
no.
long time since we've all gotten this far, but I feel like once you get through the first 2, maybe 3 weeks, that's the hardest thicket to get through. And once you're there, then you can sort of tread lightly all the way to like week 15.
Before
Well,
we
only
go,
the
hold on.
people who tried to get
Before
fancy.
we go to Paul, can I acknowledge that you just said now that you're through 2 weeks in Survivor that you feel like you have a 50-50 chance of a perfect season?
Well, as somebody who's actually had a perfect season, I do think I'm better equipped than just about anyone, if not better than anyone you know, to make that call. And I get the same feeling this year that I had that year, which is that I feel like I can figure out the teams that are definitely going to win.
So,
You know how many
if you
perfect
think
Survivor
if you
seasons
think that
there
it is,
are?
hold on, if you think that it is 50-50, if I gave you odds, how much money would you be willing to wager on that with me?
Well, I would want more than 50-50 odds because
I said I just said I would give you odds.
I don't know.
Well, how much money are you throwing down? 500 with Paul? I'm sure this is. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance. What if I gave you plus 150 on this?
No, I don't want to
Why not? It's only 50
because I don't want to.
because it's 50-50 though.
Yeah, but I still feel like 50-50
What if I get-
is
what if
still
I- what
a
if I gave
really
you-
good chance for me to blow up.
Okay, what if I gave you 2-1?
No, I don't want it.
How come? It's 50. It's a coin flip. Just a coin, and you
Because
get 2-1.
I choose
You get 2 to
because I
1
don't want
on. I mean, this seems really strange.
I mean, you can keep talking, but I'm not.
But
going to
I don't understand. Would you like to retract your statement and make
No.
I don't know, realistic statement?
No, I just express what I feel. That doesn't mean I have to support it.
We'll
It's
go
just how I feel.
as low as you want. We can do $1,000. So you give me
No.
1,000 when you don't win. I'll give you 2,000 when you do win.
No deal.
That seems really strange that you wouldn't take 2-1 on a coin flip.
I choose not to.
Interesting. That's really strange. I think almost anyone. Geoff, would you take 2-1 on a coin flip?
I would take 2-1 on a coin flip, and that's a pretty crazy thing for him to say. That's how his mind works. He thinks that is normal. He also thinks winning a survivor pool. We've already acknowledged he won no money out of it, but he makes it like 2 people around the world do this, like have done what he does. Like everyone who wins their pool, and there's tens of thousands of these everywhere every year, needs to go undefeated. So he thinks he's like alone in this feat, but it is not as great a feat as he seems to.
No,
make
it's
it
like
out
hitting
to.
it's like hitting a hole in one, right? Like thousands and thousands and thousands
It's
and
not.
thousands
It's
and
not the
thousands
same.
of people have done
It's
it.
not the same.
But you haven't done it.
Sure.
You haven't done
But
it.
and listen, if you go undefeated this year, you'll again win no money. I'm giving you a chance to win money if you do go undefeated.
I choose not to race.
Paul, what were you going to say?
Yeah, before we moved on to a game and it wasn't relevant anymore, I just wanted to give some credit to Geoff. As DeMar Hamlin doesn't play any games, he's sliding down the odds board. So
He's still a pretty...
going down those rabbit holes has really paid off for you.
I don't even.
He's
I
still,
don't even
now,
know
Brad,
why.
Geoff.
can we acknowledge that he's still a
Sliding.
favorite despite not having played a snap?
He hasn't played a snap. He's minus
Yeah, but
150,
hold
there's
on.
like minus 500s out there.
Would you acknowledge that the field is the field after 2 weeks would probably be the favorite for this award?
Probably
it's
not,
Tua
considering
now.
you're getting a bigger than 50% chance based on his odds with DeMar Hamlin still. Is minus
All right,
150.
I don't know. Even Pizzola, it was hard for him, was trying to give me credit last night. And I'm not here to take any credit, despite it probably being the only thing going positive for me in football season at the moment. The Bills didn't even glad hand this guy 9 snaps in his home opener. Didn't even let him run out the tunnel to get the pop. Even people with my preseason positions didn't see that coming. So
I'm not one to divulge the confidences of DMs, but it feels like somebody may have taken a real victory lap of joy over Shaq Barrett and how much more impressive he is too.
Tim, thank you for raising that point. That was just to say that across this league, there are comeback stories across the entire league in every single locker room. Shaq Barrett's is incredible. All right. Like he's not going to win the award, but off a torn Achilles, pick 6 game winner, death of a 2-year-old daughter. Damn. Like that's heavy shit. I mean, it's not dying, waking up a minute later. If DeMar Hamlin got hurt in October, he'd been playing by December, by Christmas. That's all. And now it gets framed into me. I'm pro DeMar Hamlin.
No,
I'm not pro.
I'm not going to lie to you. You are not pro DeMar Hamlin at all.
I'm not.
All you get to do every week is just shit on a guy for dying and say it's not that big of a deal.
No, because you make me. No, because you
we
guys
don't make
me
you
have
do
to go
anything. You say the words, and it's
Well,
like you
what we don't criticize.
It's like you don't.
No,
hear
it's in the.
yourself
Hold on.
in what you
Context
say.
is king.
Yeah, context is king. You're like
context is
the
king,
guy
and
died
in
and woke up a minute
conversation-
later. Who fucking cares?
I'm going to talk. It's in the conversation of winning the award. Context remains king. What happened to DeMar Hamlin is scary as hell. Thank God he's
No,
alive.
he woke up a minute
Thank
later.
God.
Not a big deal. That's your
No,
words.
you're now.
You just said that a minute
You will
ago.
have to.
Tim.
You have to try extra hard here because
I
after
don't.
2 weeks, the only point I made was that it would be a pick'em essentially within a month, and it took 2 weeks. That's all. Every week, guys play, make actual contributions to the team. Context is king. It's only related to this conversation.
I can't wait till he plays in
award.
like week 3 and picks a ball off and scores a touchdown. And the
That
only
will be
person
great for
upset,
him.
the only person who will be upset about this fantastic heart-touching moment will be Geoff as he
No.
watches his
Why? Because
beloved.
I'll owe Pizzola like a round of golf.
No, because it won't prevent you from finding other stories that you think are more impressive than Rising from the Dead. That's true.
Oh, Paul, yeah.
It's an impressive story, but
the
in the
thing.
context of winning the award, I even though it's a narrative-driven award, you can make it up any way you want. I'll go back to it. Just in the context of gambling, even. It was an Alex Smith prize for not the Alex Smith situation.
Paul.
But hey, you guys wanna make me like defend my position after
We're not making
it's
you defend
already
your position.
minus
We-
150
I
on
literally,
DraftKings.
I literally just said back to you what you said 30 seconds before.
What did I say 30 seconds ago? I don't hate DeMar Hamlin. You make it like I do, but it's only in. I hate the bet. I hate the bet of DeMar Hamlin to win comeback player of the year. That is the only hate I have for DeMar Hamlin. I think the fair and balanced audience has been able to see that. I don't even get the hologram joke. I know that was like a thing on the internet where people thought maybe he is actually dead and the NFL planted something. I don't know. I don't even see that on my Howard Stern Rumble pages. I missed
Paul?
that, but
I think we need to hear more about these Howard Stern Rumble pages first, but yeah, it's all.
no, I mean, I
context. It's
go
like, in
pick
the context of
YouTube
this show,
Why don't,
copyright
you let Paul
blocks.
talk? Why don't you let Paul
goes.
talk?
In the context of this show, you are far and away the biggest DeMar Hamlin hater. But like on the internet, you're not even close to the biggest hater. But in the context of this show, because we all love DeMar Hamlin, you're the hater. It's okay.
Okay.
The betting odds on Jeff's biggest rival being DeMar Hamlin is now larger than the odds of DeMar Hamlin to win comeback player of the year.
No, but
That's-
I don't
that's
even,
how far
I
this
don't
has gotten.
see
Basically,
him as a
Jeff's
rival.
campaign is, I wish he was dead, is basically what Jeff was saying.
No,
if
my
I can read
campaign
between
is
the lines.
All he did was rise from the dead.
all he
Vote
did
Jeff.
was wake up. Yeah, I like that. That's a funny line. They clipped that one because I've said it.
I think
but,
you should campaign. I think you should campaign on that line.
Listen, Jay, I didn't want to glad hand Jay Monahan because he took to go take a leave of absence, and then it was proved a thing. He just had panic attacks.
No, you should not want a glad
Whatever.
hand. You were taking a particular amount of, I don't know, Schadenfreude at his misfortune. Were you not, Jeffrey?
Yeah, when you use 9/11 families and then you can't show up to your job, and then and then it comes out that it was panic attacks. Like, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, get better soon." I don't care.
But you didn't say. But you didn't say get better soon after that information was released. You didn't say it before that information was released, and we're piling on him before you knew anything.
Yeah, because I'm smart enough to know exactly what it was. He like had, you could tell the whole time. Dudes that just can't handle the heat. He threw himself into a fire being a piece of shit, and I wasn't gonna glad hand him now because he had a tummy ache or something. I don't know.
Really down.
Whatever.
You're really downplaying. You've never had a panic attack, have you?
I thought I had one before week 1, but that's just me being me. I probably haven't had panic attacks. I don't even have a single gray hair. Seeing my
Did someone
buddies
ask
going
you at
gray.
Harvey's? Did someone at Harvey's ask you to put a mask on again, Jeff?
If they did, I would
Did
put
that
it on.
card guy not give you the reader that
Listen,
you wanted?
we could go interview this. You could send one of your camera lackeys here. Go interview the staff there. They love me there, and they make fun of that guy. So I'm not worried about that at all. I don't know what this morphed into, but it took 2 weeks for Hamlin to become a pick'em. I don't hate DeMar Hamlin. I hate the bet of DeMar Hamlin. That was the hill that I was willing to die on and am willing to die on.
But it's okay
And people
because you'll
shouldn't
just
be
wake
mad
up.
at me who love
If it's
DeMar
a hill,
Hamlin.
if it's a hill that you're willing to die on, it's okay. You'll wake up a minute later.
I might not. I'm not in peak physical health. When I go out, I probably don't wake up.
So you won't win
Like,
comeback player.
that's-
You won't win this show's comeback player of the year next year, is what you're saying.
I mean, I overcame a horrific knee injury, so I can
And we
relate to
suspended the campaign when that happened, if you remember, and reached out. Our camp gave our warmest thoughts to you when that happened.
Thank
We
you.
suspended campaigning
And-
like they
and,
do in an election during a humanitarian crisis.
And Cam had I would seem to be a pretty major operation, so he would maybe be the front runner this year, and I guess Nick Chubb is the front runner to win next year's comeback player of the year.
Until Derwin James headhunts somebody else and takes them out.
It's a horseshit
He did
call.
it. He did it
That was a
again,
horseshit
Jeffrey.
call, and the call after that was worse. But we deserve our fate.
It's okay.
I hope DeMar
Kim.
Hamlin gets to suit up. I hope they let him play some special teams. It would be nice if someone maybe even got hurt in front of him so he could play finally. I don't know.
What?
I didn't mean that. Like wishing more injury. I didn't mean that. I just mean like I don't know what it takes to get this guy on the field, but the league's going to need a fake an injury to somebody to get him on the field because the Bills don't want to put him on the field. I don't want anyone on the Bills secondary hurt. They were all hurt last year. Poyer and Hyde. So let's keep them all healthy, but their health, I guess, keeps Hamlin off the field. I don't know, man. Whatever.
Thank you. The last 5 minutes has been great. Thank you for this opportunity.
Dude, your daddy books your appointments.
Okay. Yeah, when it comes to car stuff, I don't know anything about cars.
Okay, call right now. Order dinner over the phone right now. Do it. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. I will buy you dinner. Order it right now. I'll order it.
Well, but I can't pick it up for like 2 hours, Jeff.
Okay, so in an hour and a half after Cust Corner, order dinner on the phone. I'll pay for it.
Okay, fine.
Live on the show. Here we go. Cust overcoming his fears. Let's move on.
Okay, we'll do this.
Let's move on to the Chargers and Minnesota.
Oh,
this is one of the,
that is not the right spread.
No, it's actually -1, not -11 for the Vikings. That's okay though, because the total is 54 in this game. The Vikings are now the favorite. They opened as a 1-point dog. Now they're a 1-point favorite, which is key for the Vikings because they're 17-4 outright when they're favored since the beginning of 2021. So they're better as favorites than they are as underdogs. And you go to LeagueSafe right now, the LeagueSafe app. You can get that down in the description for the third question, which is the Pat Mayo Experience question of the week. Who is going to have the more passing yards in this game, Tim? Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert, or any other player?
Justin Herbert.
You sure about that?
Yeah, just as long as there's not a minute and a half left in the game and they run like 3 plays and kick a field goal to tie. As long as it doesn't come down to that.
I don't think we're going to see Eckler again this week, Jeff.
Yeah, probably not.
So how you feeling about the 0-2 Chargers?
You know, with Trump, they'd be like everything he said, there was a tweet for that, I guess was the joke. Like there's a tweet for that. It would contradict it, or it would just like look really dumb relevant to what he just said. Every single Chargers game, like there's a stat for it. There's a new stat that comes out that is just one of a kind and only capable of, they're the only ones capable of doing it. I don't know. Haven't turned the ball over. We scored 50 points. We're 0-2. We can't do anything right on the margins. We never have. It's the same old story. I don't feel good about it. I don't even think we're going to win this game, truth be told. They can win this game, and they get the Raiders next, and maybe they get to 2-2 and take a deep breath. And the AFC doesn't seem to be as great at the moment. But we will see. It was notable for me. It's the first time, like really ever, after a game, I tweeted. The only reason this isn't even a plug, because this means nothing to anyone who listens, because they don't need a sub for this reason. I subbed to The Athletic strictly for Daniel Popper. It is the only place where I actually get someone who covers the Chargers. This isn't the Eagles. This isn't the Cowboys. This isn't the Steelers. This isn't even any team that just has local dedicated coverage. I don't have it, so I actually have to pay for it, and it is what it is. And on Friday, watching that scrum, I sense like Coach is angry at Popper. I sent Pop a message, let him know like Coach is not happy with you, but I am, and I appreciate it as a sub. And boy, came Sunday, and Staley, I don't want to say snapped, but he got real testy at the end with Popper. And then the guy that asked the question after Popper got yelled at, essentially because of Popper. Like when two kids annoy the parent and the kid that hasn't been as bad asks a question after the parent's been really annoyed. Well, that's what happened. And it even kind of went to like awful announcing and mediate and some of these, like just to show like Chargers coach losing his cool. So I don't know. We suck. We're so bad.
Who else affiliated with, owning, or not of the team on the Chargers do you DM on a regular basis?
Okay, so we can do that. I've mentioned this many times, and it's not a regular basis because I would not abuse the relationship. And when I message, I get reply. So it's not like I've ever gone in there with a weekly, like, oh, is this guy playing? Or you should do that.
Yeah, but
it's
they
only
you
like,
know what? They might see you as like Steve Buscemi from Billy Madison at the same time. Like they don't want to get on
okay,
your list.
maybe. Listen, Pat, I will not. You could look like guy owns the Chargers and is a golf enthusiast. That's essentially his Twitter profile. Like, I own the Chargers. I'm a golf enthusiast. That's a guy who makes sense that I should be friends with. That's it. That's it. And I will glad hand him. Like I will glad hand that relationship. If I feel like you can do something for me, I'll probably glad hand you too in a relationship. For example, you know, I had my member at my club a couple weeks ago. We're in a match. It's with my buddy is essentially telling me because I need something from the guy in the other match potentially. And he's like, you better not let him have a 5-footer. You better not let him have a 5-footer. But you know what? I'd let him have a 6-footer. I'd let him have a 6-footer. I would. And I'd let Spanos have a 10-footer. And if we were playing head to head in a golf match. But I've spoken about this. I've shared that message before. The one telling him to fire Lynn, hire Dable. Like, I don't know what happened last week where it like really caught on your radar, but getting anyone who loves the team, like to be able to say something to ownership, I don't know. I don't know why I'm supposed to not like hold that link. Like that's an important link for me. I tell you, I don't get off on much in this world and get off on them. So I'm not letting that link go. I'll massage that link, whatever I need. Like I don't know
Is
why
this like a
it's
Saturday
weird that-
Night Live skit? And like, I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know, but I don't understand that anyone who's ever like got the trail of me would think that me. I met him in Canton, and then he followed me after the meet.
Back
like
to
he
your
didn't
car?
have to. What?
Do you follow you back to your car? Where you massage
No.
the relationship?
No, I don't know. You got important relationships in this world. You got to take care of them. You got to treat them. And yeah, some are.
How do you take care of the relationship, Jeffrey? What do you do to take care of that relationship?
No, I mean, like, I wouldn't abuse it. Like, I'm not in there, like, ever just saying random nothings. Like, when I have to say something, it's important. Or at least to me. Like, I don't bug it, and they get replied, and I can get, I don't know. But it's just important, and guess what? Antonio's going to go into Canton this summer, and I will be there, and obviously he will be there.
I'll be
and
there.
You know me. I will buy access to a nice Friday gala or a Saturday gala. So I'll be there. And everyone will be there too. It's going to be so good because LaDainian's retired and Phillips retired. So they'll probably all be there. And yeah, we'll have our moment. And that's my loser trio.
So
And now I have a new trio of Charger losers that will let me down and let me down. But that one's important to me, and I'm certainly going to drive 4 hours to Canton to watch Gates get enshrined, and I'll be on the floor, and I'll have my Spanos moment. And they're witnesses to the last one. My buddies were there. They joked with him, with me.
your
Like they made fun
your-
of me to
your-
him.
Your friends from Canada?
Huh?
Never mind. Are you taking the Vikings?
Yeah. Mark it.
There we go.
We got to do whatever we can. Pat, Sunday is like the holiest day of the year, night of the year on the Jewish calendar.
Purim?
No, Yom Kippur.
No.
It's called Kol Nidre. It's like the eve of Yom Kippur. I don't know. Doesn't mean much to me, but in my world, it's people that does mean a lot to. And last year, I really embarrassed myself So we got our ass whipped by Jacksonville on the eve of Yom Kippur. So hopefully it'll be a better week.
There you go. New year, new haircut, new strategy,
Yeah,
new everything.
Taking the Vikings and not the Chargers. This is the first time you haven't taken the Chargers on the show in like 7 years.
Do you want to know something? Tim picked the Chargers to have a great season. Do you want to know the last time Tim picked the Chargers to have a great season? Phillip Rivers threw more interceptions than he ever had and never played for them again. So I don't know what's possible. And I'm not blaming Tim. He's got his own issues. And
You're right about that. Sadness and fun.
Yeah, it's fun and sadness. And I was, as much as you might have thought I was joking, like I 100% kind of knew what I'd be in for. Every game goes to the end and we lose most of them. And Herbert hasn't thrown a pick in the last 3 of these embarrassing losses, 7 touchdowns, but we're losers.
How hot
by
is
association? I guess people call him a loser.
How hot is Staley's seat? What could it get to before they defend?
I don't think they've ever fired a coach in season in my life, and you think I would know that? And we hung it out with Mike Riley to the end, so it's not in our DNA to do it. And if I have one complaint about the game, other than there was a call on Joseph Day, a roughing the passer that was so elementary, it would be I'll make fun. I'll criticize Herbert when he changes the play at the line of scrimmage. No one knows what the fucking play is.
Are you on your DMs right now?
No. But at least I can get a direct link, unlike Tim, who sends emails to Johnson & Johnson customer service saying his complaints.
He just wants one of those. He just wants one of those Woody chains.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Yeah.
But I don't. This is way over my head. Like, I believe dudes who resort to these pathetic gender reveals and put themselves out there on social media, like that's the cringiest shit out there. And some people do it. And I acknowledge, I have my level of cringe that I will step over, and this would probably be it for me. Getting to hang with Fleetwood. I say hang as if we hung, but it was a long session. It was at the Canadian Open. I went to a level of cringe in a way to do that. But there are levels of cringe that I will make fun of and resort and mock endlessly, I guess, in the way you are mocking this. So I could see why your cringe alarm goes off like hyper red alert. But I don't care. Owns the Chargers, golf enthusiast, relationship. This is a puzzle piece, Pat. And you know me too well to know that I won't finagle my body to fit into that puzzle.
I don't know if you're doing this on purpose or crazy. Not.
What?
This has been one of the greatest episodes. I'm so glad that we have this.
I don't know why people think that I shouldn't enjoy this. Why?
It's not that. You're like Tobias from Arrested Development. You need to go back and listen to yourself when you speak.
No, I know I'm crazy, and I know
it has nothing to do with being crazy.
There have been a lot of double entendres that you've been dropping, completely absent-mindedly. And when you listen to this again, you'll realize that perhaps
I try to brave on and soldier on here, but I mean, this is how they recovered after chopping my head off. I'm not seeing anything clearly in life at the moment.
Okay, well, let's go to this. Cust, are you picking the Chargers or the Vikings?
I'm going down swinging. I'll take the Chargers.
Yeah.
Do you realize they have long rest and we played overtime? Well, we didn't actually play overtime. The game went to overtime. Only one team competed in overtime.
Then why are you taking Minnesota?
Your defense played. But yes, I'm taking.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking Minnesota. Because the game went to overtime, and I fade teams that go to overtime, and they have extra rest. We are dead. Justin Jefferson, 370. What's the record? Single game receiving yard record. Bet it.
I think it's 336, Flipper Anderson.
Then we're going for 344.
Okay. I'm going to take Minnesota as well. -1 in this game. Next game, Denver and Tua are playing each other. Russ Danger against Tua. The Dolphins are favored by 6.5 at home in their home opener in this game. 48 is the over-under. Here's a fun thing, Tim, that maybe you don't know about the Russell Wilson era in Denver. The Broncos are 4-0 against the spread when they're getting more than a field goal since he became their quarterback.
I did not know that. That's strange.
It's because
Not totally surprising.
Because they're
when you
super.
consider-
They've been so overrated since he's been their quarterback that they're always playing like 3-point. Like the spread's always 3.5, whatever it is. And now now that he's getting more than a field goal, then all of a sudden like he can like lose those games by 4 or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm teasing the Dolphins down to the second part of the teaser. This is the storyline that has the potential to give me the most joy in 2023. My team season was stolen from me. And, I've decided that if I can't have that type of joy, watching the Denver Broncos and their overrated coach crash and burn is the next level of happiness that I can have. They made all these great changes to get rid of the world's worst coach and bring in Sean Payton, who is already up there with Vince Lombardi and Paul Brown as the greatest coaches of all time. And have you seen any discernible difference in the performance or gameplay or decisions being made through 2 weeks than you did last year? I sure don't. And now they're going to go into this blistering heat after playing terribly last, having their hearts ripped out with that big Hail Mary and failing. The Dolphins are going to crush them. Now, I don't think that Tua should be the favorite for MVP right now, but I totally get why he is. The Dolphins are playing very good football. I thought they were shaky down the stretch against the Patriots on Sunday night. That was less than an impressive way to close that game out. But the Broncos are really bad, and Russell Wilson is like one of their problems. But they have a lot of problems. They're a talent-poor team. And I think Bradley Chubb is going to have a field day. I think the Dolphins are going to strangle the Broncos offense completely. Broncos very well may not score a point in this ball game. I like the the Dolphins here pretty comfortably. They're on the short list for SUPERLOCKS too. I love Miami in this spot, getting less than a touchdown.
Yeah, I like Miami as well. Like I just and watch the Broncos lose by 5 and cover the spread because it's the NFL. This is what happens. But
that's okay. That means they lost, and then they're 0-3. Bye. 0-3, another close loss. You doing it? Yeah, I mean, you should actually change that meme to me being very happy because they haven't caused me a single amount of. Well, they haven't caused me tears.
They haven't
all year.
But when you start talking about them, you get all riled up like you're crying.
No, I'm really enjoying them getting their comeuppance. And if my season has to be ruined, I need to find silver linings where I can find them. The Patriots being god-awful again and Belichick looking like he's too old to coach is one of the things that brings me joy. And the Denver Broncos being, just as bad as they were last year is another thing that brings me an inordinate amount of joy.
Week 5, Geoff, is the week. Jets at Broncos. It might be the Broncos' only win this year. I'm with Tim on this one, though. Like, if the Broncos can't beat Washington and they can't beat Vegas, 2 of what? The 5 worst teams? How are they going to beat Miami?
There's only one thing worse than being 0-2. And that would be 0-2 having to play the Dolphins. Oh, boy. 0-2 after getting romped by the Commandos. Whatever magic was being sprinkled on that defense a year ago, I believe Evero was the coordinator. Obviously, he wasn't retained, or things just wasn't going to stay in the Peyton era. Doesn't even seem to be there at the moment. Miami, huge. Isn't Mike McDaniel from Denver? Not that I
don't know. Home
opener,
he was a
that
ball
crowd
boy
for the Broncos.
The Dolphins fans haven't given up on their season yet, for obvious reasons. So that
and shame on you. Shame on you for saying that the Jets 1-1 is as impressive as the Dolphins 2-0. Like, get out of here,
I
buddy.
think our
Get outta
1-1,
here.
our 1-1 is more impressive because
Congratulations
we don't
to
have
your
a quarterback.
Father. Send my best to your dad, who should be having a great September. All of
He's
Dolphin
already
fans.
talking about Las Vegas. He's already talking about it.
Good for him. I mean, you don't want to. I mean,
you
They have
like
been the best.
super early hype team isn't
they
ideal,
have
but you
looked
want to
the
be
best.
great to start the season. So that's like they
do
look like a
believe-
train.
I do believe they and the Ravens have been head and shoulders the best two teams in the AFC so far this season. And that, I can't say that it's not true. Like, it is. I still think that team is highly combustible with a lot of injurable players and parts. And already Waddle, is he going to play? I don't know. He probably doesn't need to in this game. But yeah, exactly. I can't. Yeah, exactly.
break that out.
Go
now.
ahead.
Break it out now.
Yeah, you might as well, right? Yeah, okay, fine.
Well,
But honestly, the
I'm on
enemy of my
Dolphins-
enemy is my friend this week. So
I'm on Dolphins
Dolphins.
Reddit right now, and someone is commenting, I think I know why the Dolphins won't release Jason Sanders, because they don't want him to take it personally, go crazy, get a sex change, and kidnap Tua before the Super Bowl. It's the only thing that makes sense. This is where we're at with the Dolphins. I mean, it's been good news for you. Like you said, the enemy of your enemy is the team that you're going to be rooting for, with the Patriots and then the Broncos in back-to-back weeks. And it's nothing but bells and roses for the bells and whistles. Was it in roses? I can't even remember at this point. I shouldn't have been reading Reddit this entire time while you're going off like a crazy person. Is it Miami for everyone?
I'm not going off like a crazy. And then they play Buffalo next week, so I'll be cheering for them again.
Where's that game?
So you
That
love
game's
Miami.
in Orchard. It's in Orchard Park, which is a huge benefit to the Dolphins to have to play in Foxborough and in Orchard Park in September and take two super cold weather games off the table. Like, what a boon that is for Miami.
This is their home opener this week also.
It is. It is their home opener this week, and they get to play. I said 3 of their first 4 games on the road, and games you'd like to play on the road, right? Like early. Like, everything is breaking right for the Dolphins, and yeah, whatever. Like, that's all because my team had the Super Bowl stolen from them. We had it. We would have won it, but it was stolen from us. So let the Dolphins win an asterisk Super Bowl. That's fine.
That you would call that an asterisk Super Bowl if they won it?
Yeah, I think that they're co-champions at best.
I hope I just won the state of Florida.
Yeah, you see, all the good work that Geoff did for you, you've just given back by crazy statements. Like, Jeff's are more pathetic than crazy. Yours are just crazy.
I'm happy to be pathetic. I can own that. I have to accept it.
So, round to Miami for everyone?
For me, certainly.
Yeah, and the coin's on board with us. Indy and Baltimore. Baltimore's a 7.5-point favorite at home. 44 is the over-under in this game at DraftKings Sportsbook. I don't know if we're getting Richardson or not. He's still in concussion protocol, and which he called on himself in that game, which seems strange. That the guy with the ball taking headshots, who is your super rook that you really want to have. I mean, this year, getting some reps in would be great, but you really want to be good in like next year, the few years after that. That no one on the sidelines is like, man, he might have a concussion there, that he has to take himself out of the game. Probably not a great look for the Colts coaching staff and protecting your star quarterback. Whereas the Ravens last week just looked great all of a sudden in a game where, I mean, that stat that I kept throwing out to you, Tim, I really wish we had known that before the game. Doesn't apply here, but probably something
it does not.
We should bank for later.
Yeah, I don't know how many times they're going to be underdogs this season, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, this team looks great.
Yeah, well, they didn't look great.
They look great. Lamar looks like he's firing. If Lamar, like Tua, if he stays healthy, like they can win every single game they're in, sort of thing, because of how good he is. I love Baltimore here. We're teasing them down as well.
Okay, hold on a second. And I come from the camp that I was very hard on Tua out of the gate. like to think that I've been kinder. I don't know. Whatever's been said on the show is on the show.
We got bullied
But
online,
you were
so
never
changed
one
your
of these
opinion.
people. Like I was one of these people. Like if he's healthy, they're winning the division. That's on our win total show. You were never one of these people that were like, if Tua is healthy, they're great. You're like,
Because I
"Doesn't
never
matter
really
if he's
because I
healthy."
never really entertained the idea of him being healthy, and I still kind of don't. But I mean, in a world where he stayed healthy all year, yeah. I mean, and now that the best team in the division has been taken off the table, yeah, like there's a clear path for the Dolphins. I won't dispute that for a second.
I'm just saying you never used to be on the camp of if he stays healthy, this team will be great. You're always like, it doesn't matter.
Well,
healthy, not healthy, they're not
circumstances
good.
have changed significantly in the last 2.5 weeks, such that I can now say that.
You tell that to your father?
He knows.
I like
He's
Indy.
too busy being too hyped up.
I like Indy in this game. I think Indy can basically, this could be a bit of a redux of what we saw week 1 when Baltimore played Houston, where Baltimore just kind of skated along. They didn't look great, but they beat Houston. We just saw last week that Indianapolis probably better than Houston. And I think they can keep this within a touchdown, whether it's Richardson or whether it's Minshew. Apparently the books don't care between the two of which one's going to play quarterback. So I say that Indy kind of keeps
You
it
don't?
close. What's it? I mean, I
You
don't
don't
think,
care?
I really don't in terms of the spread this
Okay.
week. I mean, is Richardson going to be a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew? Yes, I think so. But in week 3, the third week of his career with Minshew, it's probably. I mean, the
What
books
I
are-
would do for
the-
Gardner, what I would do to have Gardner Minshew on my team, though.
Or
Oh
are
my
you,
goodness!
or are you saying that Gardner Minshew is better than Anthony Richardson?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's a perfectly capable backup. I think Richardson has the potential to be a star if he's healthy and things develop right. But if you put Minshew on my team, I think we'd win a lot of games.
I would agree with you, but I'm saying as it pertains to the spread this week, obviously the books.
I think I
don't
would rather Richardson. I think Richardson's worth a point to me at least. I think it matters. I would not take the Colts right now because I really wouldn't want them with Minshew.
Okay. What I'm telling you is that the books don't care because they haven't named a starting quarterback and the line is up and it's been up all week.
I appreciate that, but if I were going to come in on Indianapolis, I would not want to come in on them unless it was Richardson.
Okay, I'm taking Indy either way, Geoff.
I'm going to take the points as well. We'll probably be getting more when the game actually, as we get to the weekend. But I just think it's too many. Baltimore did not look great against Houston. And you could say, shake off a lot of starters not playing in the preseason. And I'm super high on Baltimore. Baltimore wins. Indy somehow keeps this thing in the number.
Houston and the Jags in NFC or AFC South. Battle Jags are 9.5 point favorites at home. 43.5 is the over-under at DraftKings Sportsbook at the moment. I mean, is this going to be the game that we relegate to not on TVs, Tim?
I hope so. At least I hope that's the game. At least I'm not sure of all the other games to come. I'd have to take a quick look. But my goodness, I got no interest in this game.
Tennessee, Cleveland could be close.
9 games. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the Jags covered in week. You say this is a big number, but the Jags would have covered this number in week 1 against Indianapolis. So it's not like the Jags can't cover a number this big. But I am just so dispirited from what I thought was the worst performance in the NFL last week in Jacksonville. To just say I can't watch them play like that. And once again, twice in the last 8 months, throw away a game they had every opportunity to beat the Chiefs in, and pick them this week. I thought Stroud looked, some of that numbers are garbage time, but whatever, they all count the same. Stroud looked really good last week. Enough for me to say it's in division. 9.5 points is way too much in division for me to back, and I would take the Texans. And I think it'll probably get, although it has already dropped to 9 in some spots. I just like the Texans here, I guess.
CJ Stroud, Geoff, has been pressured on 44% of his drop back so far, but he's averaging over 300 passing yards a game because Houston's going to get down by a bunch and then he's going to drag them back into it. Could they just be the backdoor cover team this year?
Possibly. Tunsil could be back, which would be very clutch for that to happen.
I do have a question about Tunsil. Do we just listen? I'm not going to pretend to be some sort of offensive line expert here. Do we even know if he's good?
I assume he is
Because
but
we
you're
know his
right,
name.
I'm
But the
not.
only reason
Tim's the one
that we know
watches
his name
film
because he was
here.
getting high on draft night.
Tim's the one that watches film here, so he
And
could
I
tell us.
played tackle football and played offensive line, which puts me in the best position on this show of the people here to give my insights into the position. And yeah, I think from what I can see, he's good. What I would say, he's got great footwork. That's what I've noticed on tape. The footwork is fantastic.
You know, people don't know what you're referencing at this point,
Anyone who watched Sunday Night Live will know what I'm referencing.
which is a show that does about 1/10 the audience of this show.
Well, then they should go watch Sunday Night Live and download and listen because we talked about this.
I agree. Chris Meany will be live on the show this week with us in studio.
That should be fun. We won't have. I guess the Eagles will not have played yet, but
I'll take Houston as
Should be fun.
well. Geoff?
I'm going to take the Jags, but I don't care for this game at all.
All right, Atlanta and Detroit. Detroit's a 3-point favorite. I was big on the old Lions. They really let me down last week when half their defense got hurt. That wasn't great. David Montgomery out for a period of time as well. 46 is the over-under in this game. I would expect this to be one of the faster games of the day because both these teams love running, especially the Falcons. But when we take a look at it, since the beginning of 2021, the overs are 5-1 when Detroit is favored in these games. And Atlanta has just not really been all that great following an outright win. When they win, I mean, they didn't cover last week once we finally saw the end of the line movement because they ended up going off as favorites by the end of the week. They were 3-10 coming off of a win. They won again. I'll just take the Lions to rebound in the spot. I think Detroit is a significantly better team than Atlanta. Maybe Bijan absolutely rips them apart, Geoff, but I just think they're going to score a ton of points here.
A lot of injuries to the Lions last week, some key players. I don't know. I'm gonna take the Falcons. I'll ride that fairy dust. I don't know that they're worse anywhere on the football field other than quarterback, and that could be a dumb thing to say because that could be all that matters. But they've gone out and built a team other than the quarterback. Pretty good one.
It's okay.
I expect Hutchinson to ruin this game. If I was Ritter, I would be very nervous about the Lions' defensive line just coming to town when they actually do have to throw. I would have real nerves about it. I like the Lions here. I think the Lions are the better team. I'm only having to lay 3. The books tending to tell you that these two are equal. I don't think so. I was pretty impressed with Detroit's performance, even in a loss last week, and I haven't been impressed with Atlanta yet. I'm giving credit for winning, but. Yeah, this Lions team is still very talented.
I'm with you. So Detroit for everyone besides Atlanta, coin included. That brings us to our second.
I have
What?
Atlanta.
He took Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Did I say that Tim had taken Atlanta?
He said nobody had. Sorry.
Oh, never mind. You can look at the fucking cheat sheet after the fact. I have it written down Atlanta for Geoff. Anyway, to the second Pat Mayo experience, League Safe listener question this week. So download the League Safe app. This is question 5 out of 10. Which quarterback throws for more interceptions in the Patriots and Jets game, Tim? Zach Wilson or Mac Jones?
That's a good question. What's the tie?
Your name is not Geoff.
You're right. It isn't. Sorry.
Zach Wilson. He's considerably worse. He knows nothing else.
Well, Zach Wilson is a 2.5-point dog at home in this game to the Patriots and Mac Jones. What's the over-under here? 3 points or something? 36.5 is the over-under. I like the Jets to win this game. I think the Jets defense is better than the Patriots defense, and I think that might be good enough. I agree with you, Mac Jones, Geoff, is better than Zach Wilson, but this could be a game where Zach Wilson doesn't have to throw too much.
You would think that should be the case, and in some really bad spots against a team like Dallas that you probably shouldn't totally overrate what happened there. But I'm gonna take the Patriots here. I believe having to go to practice with Zach Wilson will continue to deflate the Jets in some respects. He'll look lost against Belichick. He will. Patriots could be a super lock.
You mentioned this, Tim, that we all kind of forgot about it last year. or we forgot about it last week when Zach Wilson became the starter again, that this team turned on Zach Wilson after like 5 weeks last year.
Yeah, well, wasn't so much. It was like the week before the Thursday game where when the press conference asked him about his performance, he didn't think he played very badly when he had thrown a bunch of interceptions and had been terrible. Yeah, he lost the locker room. Nothing has changed other than, he's back. The Patriots are just like, we talked about the last couple of weeks, and the trend more or less continued about what teams own what teams. Like the Patriots have beaten the Jets an extremely ridiculous number of times in a row. So I don't know how you stand with the Jets here with a quarterback you can't trust. Zach tends to throw most of his picks when they're way down. Are the Patriots going to be up enough to necessitate like him trying to force it, trying to press throws? And I don't know, maybe. I don't think we'll probably see an over-under lower all season than we see this week. And I still think the under is probably the play. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, but I can't pick the Jets in this spot because the Patriots have a way of beating them week after week, year after year. Until I see differently, how could I, in good conscience, with a quarterback who can't throw the ball, pick the Jets? Like, if you told me they're going to go to Tim Boyle, if you told me they signed Colt McCoy off the scrap heap, if you told me they traded for any number of backups, I'm in. But they're going to give Zach Wilson the ball. It's going to be in New York. He's going to throw the first play of the game is going to be a draw that results in nothing. On second down, he's going to throw the ball way over somebody's head, and he's going to start getting booed. And then the game is over. As Marcus Aurelius says, every war is won or lost before the battle begins. Like, this war has already been lost. It is over in this game, I think. I mean, the Jets defense is going to have to turn the Patriots over several times. And when they do it, they're going to have to get in good field position. Too many things have to go right for the Jets to win this game. I like the Patriots.
So the unders have cashed in 6 of the past 8 games when the Patriots have been favored. I got that wrong, by the way. The spread is 3 in this game. Does that change your mind at all?
No, I mean, these teams will play close, low-scoring games, but I think the Patriots are going to win it by 6 or 7.
Jeff, does that change it for you?
It might change if it actually ends up being my super lock or not. And maybe I am overrating the Patriots. Like, they played the Eagles and the Dolphins. They actually competed quite well in both those games.
No, I mean, they do lead the league in moral victories, Tim. The Patriots do.
Character building wins.
Character building losses.
They had, the Dolphins were trying to give that game away Sunday night at the end, and the Patriots, like the Eagles did, and the Patriots just wouldn't take it. I thought the Patriots were very poorly coached 2 weeks in a row.
But great losses, though, when you talk to Patriots fans.
Good character losses, but such will not be said if they lose this game.
No, not at all. So the Jets haven't scored more than 17 points against New England since November 9th, 2020.
Yeah, good. I mean, last year, I think the last time they played was the 3-3 game. Went to overtime, and the Patriots took a punt return back for a touchdown to win.
Maybe that's how this is how the Jets are going to cover this spread. It's going to be like 6-6, and that's it. They won't return the.
That's the path. That's the path to the Jets' victory. Is the defense give them a couple of short fields. Maybe when Sauce gets a free pick 6, he catches it this time, and you hope to break one. The Jets are playing a game where you have to keep getting lucky over and over again to win. It's just not sustainable. They don't have it when you don't have a quarterback. You don't have any hope. They don't have a quarterback, so what are you gonna do?
All right, we'll move on to the next game then. So me and the coin are taking the Jets. You two are taking the Patriots. Tennessee and Cleveland. Cleveland is favored by 3. And I didn't see the opener on this, Jeff, but I don't think this moved after Chubb got injured. I think it's still just 3.
Interesting. I lean Cleveland.
And we have this one backwards. It's Titans at Browns, by the way.
Yeah, I lean Cleveland. I think this is a really, in the way the Chargers are actually could be a decent matchup for the Titans. I think the Browns are actually a really bad matchup for them. I think the Browns bounce back from that ugly turnover-filled loss. They'll win that game at home.
Yeah, but do they cover the 3?
Yeah, I would take the Browns to win by more than 3. I'm gonna bet. I don't know if I'm gonna bet, but I'm on the Brownies I'm on the Brownies here. Although Vrabel 24-9 ATS as a dog of 3 or more is literally maybe the greatest betting trend in football.
Yeah, and the Titans were the 4th best ATS team last year on the road. They were 6-2. But I mean, you watched all of the Titans last week. It seemed like they were a bit less anemic than they were against the Saints. And they every time I looked over to that game and it was 3rd and anything and the Chargers had to pass, it was the only time they got into the backfield and they were in Herbert's face.
Yeah, that kind of has happened in the Dolphins game. I don't really understand. The clutcher the play, the offensive line seems to play horribly despite actually having outstanding pass protection throughout the whole game. Shame on Asante Samuel Jr. for a total misplay on a Burks bomb. The Titans can't beat you unless they hit 2 plays deep over the top, and they did that. The Chargers are dumb enough and bad enough to allow that. I don't think the Browns are. This could be a push. This could be Browns by 1 or 2, and the Titans money cashes. But yeah, the Chargers actually held Derrick Henry pretty good. It just doesn't matter. We suck. Like I said, I just think it's a good matchup for Cleveland.
Okay. Tim, I'm taking the Titans +3. What are you taking?
I am too. I think Vrabel is going to feast upon the mistakes that Watson will provide. I'm not ready to take a victory lap yet because it's still way too early. But I have seen nothing through the first 2 weeks that have made me or should make anybody else think anything different about Deshaun Watson since he came back in December last year, which is that he hasn't had anything since he's come back.
It's been bad. And he looks horrible.
Like, it's only 2 weeks. Fair enough. People deserve a little bit of a grace period in terms of like getting back to full speed on, before I start really taking a victory lap. I'll wait a couple more weeks, but boy, oh boy, a hard, tough-nosed Titans team that is very opportunistic and plays everybody tends to play teams close who are better than them. Or even if they're not, I don't trust Deshaun not to make a couple of crippling mistakes. And I do think the Titans will take advantage if Deshaun gives them that opportunity. No Chubb, does make a difference. Ford is not nearly as good of a running back. I had heard maybe they were looking about bringing Kareem Hunt in. That would make some sense. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. Last week's that Monday night loss was a sloppy, ugly one. And to turn around on short rest and to play the Titans, who are a very punishing team in their own right, I think it's a bad spot for the Browns, and I like the Titans.
I'm with you. New Orleans at Green Bay is the last game of the early slate. The Packers are a 1.5 favorite at home. 43 is the over-under. I don't know what to make of any of these teams so far. Like, the Saints have to be the most unimpressive. I mean, maybe at least Washington went and had that big comeback in Denver, Geoff. Like, the Saints are 2-0, and it's like, okay, great. I have no clue if you're good or not.
Yeah, but excuse me, sorry. Incredible Dennis Allen stat about the points per game allowed. I think we're at 10 plus games where nobody gets close to 20 against them or sniffs it, certainly. So credit where credit is due. We came into the year wondering the defense was more veteran. Would they still be able to turn it out like they have? That seems to be the case. That being said, I love the Packers. I really do like the Packers here. They're going to get their key players back, it seems. Jones, Bakhtiari, hopefully Christian Watson. They nearly won in Atlanta. Unfortunate. Like when we bet that game, I think we laid points with the Packers last week. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Nothing went off at Atlanta, laying 3. So crazy. I don't think any of us lost out because we were all on the same side. We're also all on the same side of San Francisco. So in terms of this game, no complaints, but your real money I feel bad for. I am just still full throttle in on the Packers. Last week's loss didn't change it for me. I love them here. They could be my super lock.
The coin likes New Orleans. I'm going to take New Orleans. Just any sort of close game. I'm just going to grab any point that I can. And Tim, I'm not really sold on Green Bay at this point. Not that I'm sold on them, especially the offense. The offense of the Saints should be a lot better, and it just straight up isn't. But I don't know how good this Green Bay defense is. And Love is, He's throwing touchdowns at an unsustainable clip based on the amount of pass attempts that he has. But he's been kind of good. It's really bizarre.
I'm going to be really classic here and take home field advantage and the Packers in this spot. I think the Saints have offensively been extremely challenged over the first 2 weeks. They were a tough watch last night. They should have been much better than they were. And, they scored 16 points against the Titans, and the Titans gave away all kinds of opportunities to win. They scored 20 points against the Panthers, and now they're only laying only getting 1.5 points in Lambeau. And the Packers, gave away the game at the end of last week. The Packers have looked like a better team through 2 weeks. In Lambeau, I'm taking Jordan Love. I'm taking the Packers. To me, there's no doubt about it. This is Green Bay. This is the first game in Lambeau of the season. I want them. I want Green Bay here. I think the spread is too short. It should be 3 or 2.5. So there's value in taking Green Bay here.
All right. Well, that brings us to the midway point of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
So I know that a lot of us are going through, well, not a lot of us. Those of us who are network TV watchers know that there is a strike underway with the Hollywood writers. And so we're not going to get as much new content on our TV as we're used to having in the fall. So I have a tip and a trick for the people to entertain yourself during this downtime. It's something I learned very recently. Somebody showed me. Now, I have the newest iPhone, so I know I have this capability. I don't know about others. It's called screen mirroring. And so let me explain how it works. What you do, right, is there's this little icon on your phone that as long as your television is the smart TV, like mine is, the Roku, you click this button. And if your Wi-Fi data and its Wi-Fi data are the same, whatever is on your phone shows up on your television, and the sound from your TV works. So I was able the other day to flick through like the TikToks, not on my phone, having to hold my phone and like lay on your side where it's cramped, but like comfortably on your couch, watch like TikToks or videos or scroll Twitter on a bigger screen or whatever. It is, your evenings are going to be quieter without network TV on. You're going to be looking for something to do. Now, if you're like me and you're active through the day and you're exhausted when work is done and you just want to relax, this thing called screen mirroring. So what you do is when you open up your iPhone, you scroll down with your finger at the top, the same way you would to get a flashlight. And what you'll see is there's this picture-in-picture sort of thing where it's like one square over another square, sort of like the first start of like if you're going to draw one of those 3D cubes. You click on that, and then your television magically knows to pair your phone screen with your TV screen. It is the coolest thing. I don't doubt some people do know about it, but I bet you most people don't. It's really awesome. That's my tip to you. Screen mirroring. It has been a game changer.
Can you tell me about this again? How do you do it on your phone?
So you scroll, once you're off your lock screen, then you scroll down with your finger the same way you would if you wanted to like see the airplane and the flashlight and the calculator or whatever. But
Okay.
I never noticed it until someone showed it to me. There's a little button there, which is like a square on top of a square. And that's called screen mirroring.
Okay.
You click the screen mirroring button, and then if your television is smart like mine is, if your Wi-Fi data and its Wi-Fi data are on the same networks, you can click a button and boom, you can have on your television what you have on your phone. Now, I don't know, I haven't tried this yet, if what you see on your television you can see on your phone. Like if I'm watching cable TV on my television, I don't know if it works in reverse. I've never tried that, but I have done the phone to TV. I'm telling you, it is awesome.
Okay.
Now I understand why people have
Screen
a Netflix app.
mirroring.
Screen
Yeah,
mirroring.
screen mirroring. Now I can understand why someone would have the Netflix app on their phone. It never made any sense to me before, but now I get it because you can just click a button and then mirror your phone and watch it on the television.
If I'm like if I'm bootlegging a stream on my phone, I can put that on my TV.
As I understand it, everything that is on the screen of your telephone goes from like when Willy Wonka, how they were able to turn the TV machine, they could turn big things into little things, by transporting it. Like the big chocolate bar turns into a little one. So it's like the reverse here, where you turn the little things into the big things. I'm telling you, folks, for those of you who don't know about it, I didn't know about it till recently. Someone showed it to me the other night. It has been revelatory because we're not going to have the TV shows that we want to watch through the week on network cable. This is a way for you to get through this strike.
Okay,
so I thoroughly encourage you to do this.
Is this new? Because I've never heard of this.
I didn't know of it either.
Who taught this to you?
A friend of ours on Friday evening, we were chatting, and I was talking about how, I have tech problems, as everybody knows. And he's like, well, do you know about screen mirroring? And I was like, no, what in the name of God is that? And took me through it step by step. I was able to figure it was, and then I had to go home. When I went home and tried it, sure enough, it worked. Like, it's really, tech usually never works easily for me. There's always hoops to jump through and problems and anxieties. This is so easy. So I encourage you, the people. This is as a man of the people, for the people, I'm giving you a tip to make your lives easier. When you want to relax after a hard day at work or whatever, mirror your phone to your television and you have better sound, picture, everything. I think it's a really cool idea.
When we've gotten together for those drafts that we do for the fantasy footballs every year and we project the Excel sheet onto the screen, Tim, what do you think we use?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Just thought that was magic?
I don't know. I don't know if you're using the Fire Stick or what you're using. I have no idea. I don't know how that works.
So, two things here. What year, Geoff, would you say that screen mirroring from your iPhone or whatever mobile device has been available since?
I don't know, but it was available like when I was working, when I met you. Like,
yes,
I was using that technology back.
There's no way it was that old.
2012. Because we used to use it at the office all the time from our phones.
Yeah.
You're over a decade.
I feel like I would have.
Not only are you a decade late on screen mirroring with your fucking hot tips, additionally, everything that you're talking about, I guess outside of TikTok, like if you want to watch TV, whether it be on, you can watch it on whatever your cable system is. They have an app. You can watch it on Max. They have an app. Paramount Plus. They have an app. Netflix. They have an app. Why wouldn't you just use the app instead of streaming it from your phone?
Well, you can just use your phone though this way.
But you don't have to use your phone this way.
It's easier for me to navigate the phone.
You can't use your
No,
TV.
they have apps on the TV.
There's buttons.
Yeah, but those are not easy to use.
Yeah, do you know why they're not easy to use? Because you might have to log in, and he doesn't know how to do that.
Who can remember that? You have to open it. Like,
how are you going to log into your apps on your phone?
They're
already logged in,
and that's enough. He doesn't have to ever have to do it again. That's his logic.
That's 100%
instead of using the app that's built into the TV, that's like 4K, what you're going to do is diminish the quality of your stream and not be able to use your phone the entire time by screen mirroring it from your phone to your TV?
Oh, so you're anti-screen mirroring. Okay,
no,
that's fine.
You said that it got better sound, better picture. You're an idiot.
Then what you have on your phone?
You're a decade late and you're an idiot on this.
No, I'm not.
It's not better sound or better picture.
Then on my phone? Yes, it is.
Yes.
No, then the TV app, then the app on the TV to watch the exact same thing.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about that. I was talking
about watching it on your TV.
But it's just, it's a one-stop shop in my hand. It's easier than having to manipulate the remotes and push this button and push that button. Then you got to log in, then you got to wait. It's just a hassle. This is all one-stop shopping. And it's just as good, if not better. And like I said...
can you please explain how it would be better?
It's there instantaneously.
Just like it would be on your TV.
It's just
Some might say you're using your phone as a universal remote.
That's true.
Well, but it's not, though. I'm using it like a phone, and I'm able to project the phone bigger on my television. Like watching TikToks on your TV rather than in your hand on your phone. Game changing.
Is it?
You're
Paul,
wrong.
Paul, yes, Paul, you have a comment on this?
Hey, Tim. Do you see that your phoner board in the desk right there?
Yes.
How many times do you think you've looked at that in the desk over the last few years?
Lots. Hundreds.
Would it shock you to know that's screen mirrored onto it?
From a phone?
Well, it's from our computer. It's over there.
Well, I'm not talking about computers.
It's the
I'm
same
talking about my
fucking
phone.
thing.
No. I'm talking about the iOS.
The Apple operating system?
I mean,
Yeah,
we
the
could
phone
run it
system.
from our phone.
We could run it from our phone if we wanted to.
the
It's just
TV,
easier
but-
from the computer.
But then our phone would be locked up. You wouldn't be able to use your phone, and it would probably diminish the quality because a phone isn't really supposed to project to a large screen TV in the same way.
Well, my phone is made to do that.
Well, you just
It
probably
has
don't
the
notice
functionality.
because I have to help you put like your earpiece in every single week. Like these are.
I like
are
that you're
things.
over a
Oh, look,
decade.
I'm not-
You're over a decade late to this. This is amazing, and
You're
and you're,
later on
and you're
this
giving
than
this,
you
and you're
were-
giving it out as hot tips to the people.
You're later on this.
I
than
guarantee you people don't know about this. Some do, obviously. I guarantee you a lot of people are going to hear this and go, I have got to try this.
no one in our audience, no one who
maybe
listens
there
to
could
this
be
show
some. Listen,
is
there
among
could
those.
be someone out there that is absolutely correct. But I want to hear from you, people out there. Yes or no? Did you know about screen mirroring before Tim just told you? I want to hear it in the comment section. And maybe Tim, you'll be correct. There'll be one person who's like,
Well, just
I don't know what
it's
that
also
is.
buried on your phone.
It's
Like,
not
you don't
buried.
see
It's
it
right
if you're
next to the
looking for it.
fucking everything that you use all the time. It's right below the Wi-Fi button.
Run a poll. Run a poll on Twitter right now, and we'll look at the results.
Yeah,
do you know what
Here, I'll run it because coming from Tim, people will like sympathetically vote with
fair.
Tim. I'll run the poll and I'll let it go for 1 hour, and we'll see where we're at.
Do you know what screen sharing is?
No, it's screen
Tim,
mirroring.
This is
mirroring.
worse than when you thought that the technology to like open the trunk of a car was new.
I don't know. That technology is still very cool, but I always get it wrong still.
What?
I'm
What?
always still inclined to want to push the trunk down or like reef the trunk up, or like you see those vans these days that have those handles where all you have to do is open the handle, let it go, and like the door automatically slides forward and back. It's pretty cool.
What?
You're like a child.
No, like I think it's really cool. I don't have an automobile like that, so
You don't own a minivan?
no, I don't. I don't own any of these vehicles with all this new high tech for the most part. I mean, the car I do drive has Bluetooths and everything, but it doesn't have like all the bells and whistles.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was running the poll. Did you say that you were really impressed by the minivan door that slides open by itself?
Yeah, that's really
Again,
cool.
That's also technology that's been in minivans for like 20 years.
Yeah, but I haven't encountered it.
What?
So to me, it might as well not have existed, because if I'm not interacting with it, what's the point?
Oh, that's
But
a real,
you
that's a real
also-
main character way of
anytime-
thinking.
Anytime I ask you or try to make fun of you, you always claim that you're an early adopter of
I try to be.
technology.
I try to be. I kind of thought I was here. Like I did not know that there's no way this is, by the way, there's no way this is 10 years old. That seems impossible.
Well, you're right.
I don't know how it would be possible.
It's over 10 years old.
I don't know how it would be possible for me to not have encountered it over the last 11 years. Like, I'm not the most tech savvy.
You did
granted,
encounter it. I just
but
told
I
you at
do
our
deal with
football draft every year we do this.
But no one ever said to me they were screen mirroring.
Tim, you're like a
No
child.
one bothered to show me how it was done.
You're like a child who puts French fries in their hamburger and thinks they invented that.
That's not true.
Okay.
Here I am just trying to give helpful tips to the people who are going through a tough time when there isn't good network TVs on. And all you can do is to say, everybody already knows about this, and it's not a very good idea anyway. We should ban screen mirroring. That's the response I basically got.
What's it like to live in the 80s? As a future person.
Oh, I don't. I'm using this technology.
You are now.
Yeah, because someone spent the time to show me how it worked.
Again, I might be more pathetic, but you are more insane.
I don't know how that.
And
could
you
come
might
across.
be equally pathetic.
I put out the poll, and there's one comment that came, and there's only one response. It just says, currently 7% of people are lying to hopefully get Tim Anderson a victory. I didn't even put your name in it, and people know what this is about. How stupid this take is.
But I know about screen mirroring now.
Where were you the last decade? Paul, yes.
Did the person tell you like that they can spy on you through this though?
That's true.
They can spy on me.
Yeah.
Who can spy on
Like
me?
you become like they're able to notice your device and they may be able to see you.
They
through your
already do
TV.
that with my phone.
No, but
I turn my phone on and my app already tells me where
let's
I'm
say,
gonna
Tim,
go
that you
before I go.
invited me over to your house and I went on your Wi-Fi network. Anytime that you screen mirror, I can see exactly what you're watching because I too have that password of your Wi-Fi. So anyone that can like hack into it can watch you.
Well, you know what? They're going to be really bored then.
You're just beating off to TikToks?
They're going to be no.
Are you sure?
They're going to be really
why
bored.
Why do you need to see TikToks on a big screen?
Because it's not about the big screen, honestly. It's about not having to hold the phone in your hand the whole time.
Why would you be watching on your phone?
That's how people consume TikTok. I bet you 98%
TikTok.
of people consume that content.
Sorry, I thought you meant like long form Netflix.
No, those I watch on my computer.
Why would you
Again,
just cast
also-
that to your TV then?
I don't think I can cast it from my computer.
Dude. My
My computer's not my phone. It doesn't have a button like that.
They might be able to see your McDonald's reward points and steal them though. You gotta be careful
That's
about
true.
that.
They can hack
I've been
into your
figuring out.
They can
I've been
hack
looking,
into your
Geoff,
other
at
apps from there.
the expiry date of all the recent coupes, and they all end around the same day. So I know what that means. I now know the date.
What does that mean?
Well, we know what date the
Oh,
contest
you
is
think
going to start.
McDonald's starts when these current run of coupons?
I
or
think
Monopoly
I think
starts when this
all
current run
these
of coops?
coupons are strategically scheduled to end on October 3rd. So that tells me October 4th is all systems go.
Are you going to take the first week off again to give your natives a chance?
I don't know what I'm going to. I'd like to think that I'm not going to play at all, but I don't want to lie to myself either.
But the worst thing you can do is waste a week.
This
like
is it.
last
I
year.
have to make a decision before it begins and decide whether, again, this all goes back to why they need to have a system where I can just be able to buy stickers. And then you can donate that money to a charity of their choice. Like I'll pay the money that it would cost to buy 3/4 pounders or whatever.
You could
Why,
walk
why,
into
why,
McDonald's-
hold,
you
hold
could-
on. Why would they donate the money? They don't
Well, 'cause
donate.
I'm not
They
actually
don't. They don't.
purchasing the food.
Well, you're purchasing the stickers.
Yeah,
Tim,
so then
In
use that money.
order to purchase the stickers, you need to purchase the food, which is money that they don't give away to charity. They keep for themselves.
You want to be a real mensch? Like just buy 5 combos, show up at a work site and say, "Lunch, here's lunch, boys, but I need the stickers."
Can I take the stickers off before I give it to them?
No, that's
Yeah,
weird.
and they'll
No,
be
that's-
like,
that's
"Thanks
weird.
for
That- no,
lunch."
that's real weird. Someone showed up. Like, what else did you tamper with my food? You weirdo. This random fucking
you just
person
have to
showing
tell
up
them
with
that this-
ripped off stickers from McDonald's. Like, I don't even want the food. Here, have this Coke. It's like,
You make it sound
No.
like when Elaine was trying to give away the muffin stumps.
yes,
Tim
exactly.
can buy the family meal. The family meal.
Stop calling it that.
It's not called the family meal. It's called a Cust combo for one.
Well, look, Kenny went through the same. Kenny had a great tweet on Sunday. He bought the popcorn shrimp, and it was the quote family's pack, which he was going to have just for himself, and he understood how isolating that feels.
Notable non-overeater Kenny Kim.
Could be worse. I could have ordered oysters.
What?
Nah, I'm just making fun.
Of what? You?
No, oysters. That seems to be a topic of heated conversation on your other show.
You're like pullbacks here to get deflecting the attention off you are just really bizarre today. And I
Look,
thought
I came out here to give people a helpful
I
tip.
thought that you were doing a bit on the screen mirroring thing, and it wasn't a bit. That's amazing.
No, I learned about it on Friday night. It was
Thi-
really cool.
This has to be the most, and I think I've said this a few times, but the most out of touch you've ever seen with anything.
No way. I'm in touch. I'm actually in touch with it. I actually know what we're doing. Like, I get it.
You do
Can
now.
I give a real life tip?
Sure.
A real life tip. And I don't know, maybe people know this, like screen mirroring. But again, like me and my wife, well, my wife is having our third child. So it means a lot of doctor's appointments and the whole roundabout again. You're always like, how do I see the doctor and not wait? Like, how is that possible to see the doctor and not wait? I'll book the morning appointment. Everything will be fine. Wrong. You want to see the doctor and not wait. These are like tips you get from the secretary when you're having a third kid. No, not be late. You ask for the first appointment after their lunch.
Oh.
You will. Perfect. You're in. Literally, it is like a godsend tip that my wife has discovered. I wish you knew it on our first child, but anytime if you do not want to wait, the appointment after lunch is the gold star. You will not wait appointment. You're welcome. I make up for Tim's screen mirroring bullshit.
Late set of games. Panthers at Seahawks. Ooh, this one should be fun. Seahawks are favored by 6. At home, 42 is the over-under. Are the Panthers really, really bad, or are they kind of okay with a young quarterback and could be getting better? Because I can't really put my finger on it because they seem like they're really bad, Geoff.
Jeez, Pat. I mean, we are walking that tightrope because you're not wrong. They've been in close games. Maybe it is just a young quarterback kind of being just dreadful in the red zone. Maybe it's a lack of, confident targets that the broadcast pointed out last night, Pat. Like, guys are never open for the kid either. So it's frustrating.
And his anticipation hasn't been great either. Like, when you're used to your receivers being so much better than the defenders, it's so much easier to throw the ball into the, not even tighter windows, but to be able to lead your receivers. But now his receivers are just covered all the time. He doesn't know what to do.
That seems to be a total problem. I like to think they'll be getting better, but at the same time, unfortunately, this could be too early for this, but their doomsday scenario could come true. Like, that's how sluggish they have looked against the Saints and the Falcons, that the doomsday scenario of not owning your first overall pick next year and where that pick ends up being, God forbid. I'm crazy enough to say, you know what? I think they'll be in another close game. Seattle, great win on the road in overtime. I'm taking Carolina to probably lose close. I'll take these 6 points, though.
Yeah, Carolina covered on Monday night, Tim.
They did cover, but I'm comfortable enough to say I saw enough from Seattle to think that Seattle's going to score points, and Carolina, as we've seen 2 weeks in a row, struggles to score points. So I really am not inclined to take the Panthers here. I'm teasing the Seahawks down to
teasing through 0.
I know, but I really like the Seahawks here. I don't think the Panthers have much for them.
See,
I'm can't score.
I'm with you, but I am going to take Carolina. Like, one of the big reasons that I was so big on Detroit last week against Seattle is with both tackles being out, that I thought that the Lions would generate so much pressure, kind of like the Rams did the week before, that just Gino would have no time to do anything. And they couldn't do it. Their defense got banged up. They lost a D lineman. Then all of a sudden, Hutchinson was kind of a non-factor for the Lions. And Pete Carroll and the offense did a very good job of quick plays, running plays, and nothing with 5-step drops, nothing deep down the field, just boom, 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 big extended plays. It's hard to keep that going week after week after week after week. And I don't know how good Detroit's defense is in the grand scheme of things, but Carolina's been okay so far this season, that I think they're going to play a lot of these just really bizarre games. To me, it kind of came down to, if I do think Seattle's going to win this game. But in terms of how the spread looks, it was between Miami and this game that I wanted to take the dog in one of them. And I do think that Seattle still gets a few extra points on the spread because of the 12th man, which really hasn't been a thing in like 4 years.
They got embarrassed by the Rams.
Yeah, their home field advantage is not really a thing. I agree with that. But just the Panthers are just offensively very challenged, and it's hard for me to think they're going to be able to. And I think the Seahawks can score.
So that is obviously my biggest concern. I was on the Panthers last night. I was shocked. I did not see us getting that backdoor push coming at all. They look so sluggish, lethargic, moving the ball essentially downfield. I didn't know they could do it, but they did it. And I am still worried about the offense. And the bigger problem might be the fact that now Shaq Thompson is out the year. Horn wasn't on IR when we recorded last week, but he is. So what was, I don't want to say a strength, but what like we saw could be an emerging like unit, it's taking body blows big time.
But we're both taking Carolina.
Yeah.
And Tim's taking Seattle.
But if they get absolutely blown out, I don't think I'm shocked in that end result either.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's offense is gonna come in somewhere between what they looked like in week 1 and what they looked like last week. I think they overachieved a little bit last week, and I think it's different too because I spoke about this with Jake a little bit on Monday's show as it pertained to the Giants and the Commanders. Is that I mean, I don't think it's easy to come back from a big deficit, but I think once you get the snowball rolling offensively, when you're down by a bunch, you can kind of keep that momentum going and you get the defense really rattled that if you like the Washington offense looked kind of anemic in the first half against the Broncos. And once they kind of let up a little bit and allowed them a little bit of breathing room and didn't bring just as much pressure, all of a sudden that the Washington offense like couldn't be stopped and Denver couldn't really recover. With Seattle last week, they knew that they had to score a bunch of points to keep pace with what Detroit was going to do offensively. So they had this game plan. I do think that there are certain situations when you're going up against an opponent that you know that isn't going to score a bunch of points, that your offense looks a little bit different. And that would be my roundabout, made-up way of taking the Panthers in this game. Thanks for the input.
Yeah, no,
Next game.
I don't know if you're waiting for a follow-up, but coaches sometimes enough don't coach the game that they're in, like play versus the opponent. You know who's actually pretty good at that? Mike McCarthy, for all his, qualms.
Well, let's talk about him. He is at Arizona. The Cowboys are favored by 12. 43.5 is the over-under. And since the beginning of 2021, the Cowboys are 9-3 against the spread as road favorites, covering by an average of 6 points over that span. I think I'm going to keep taking Dallas to blow out shitty teams. And this is an even shittier team than they played last week. And they should score even more points, I would think. They didn't even try in the second half.
And that will feel like it will be a Cowboys home game. It will be insane. It will look like SoFi, essentially, in terms of what a visiting crowd will be. I'm with you. Even though, Pat, you acknowledge if you are betting Dallas in real life, you are probably paying a bigger tax on them versus Arizona than any game on the board this week. You can maybe even argue any game this season. But I don't care. They'll just turn the ball over, give Dallas a short field, and you'll get your cover. Even if I lean Arizona this year, I don't even know that I have the courage to pick them. You did in week 1, and you cashed big. Props to you.
Should have picked him in week 2.
2-0 against the spread.
Yeah, 2-0 ATS.
Dallas.
Dallas for me, too. Tim?
Dallas, tease Dallas down.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, I think. Dallas to, what does that bring them to? 5.5? All right, they've got 5 games. Maybe your strategy should be to have like 3 game teasers or something. Not
maybe, but
5 and 6.
This is a 5. It is a 5 gamer, but anyway.
So is that?
I'm going to say something really embarrassing.
Okay.
I just want to get the number. It's dangerous. I don't want to do it. I don't want to condone it, but it's minus 700. I literally brown bag my life, but it's just not worth it. So we'll pass. But that's a way better minus 700 than DeMar Hamlin in the summer.
You just can't not draw attention to this, can you? Like Cust is just trying to be the most insane person of all time based on this show, and he just won't let him have it. Just by tripling down on this over and over against a poor dead man.
Well, he's alive.
Bears at Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 12.5. I'm going to take the Bears. I think this is just a Justin Fields rushes for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns when they're down by 21 in the fourth quarter, and You know, the Chiefs are never in danger of losing. The Chiefs' offenses look terrible. The Chiefs' defenses look very good through 2 games, but it's unfortunate that that new rule came in, Tim, where they have to play with a football that's been dumped in a bucket of grease before they take the offensive side of the ball. It's been really problematic through 2 weeks, and I don't think the spreads have adjusted to that yet.
That's all well and true, and here's why I'm taking the Bears, and I hate saying that. First, the Chiefs historically have had trouble covering big numbers, even when they're running on all cylinders. Secondly, the version of the Chiefs we've seen through 2 weeks, I don't think justifies laying 12.5. I think it's just too big. I think the backdoor cover is so there for Chicago. Reluctantly, I will pick the Bears.
Can you make it a round of them, Geoff, or are you going with Kansas City?
Yeah, I'll make it a round of. And I assume this is really boring 4 o'clock slate.
Yeah, that's the entire slate, isn't it? Those 3 games?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get when you have 2 Monday night games. We couldn't have taken a few? We couldn't have made New England the Jets, even though it's a terrible game? Make that one of the later games?
I'm not really sure what they could have done, but
They wanted to focus on Mahomes v. Fields, I guess.
I guess. New Orleans, Green Bay, I suppose, could have been a 4 o'clock game.
Vikings, Chargers.
Yeah. Pittsburgh and Vegas is the Sunday nighter. It's funny. What was it who are the teams that are on the most in prime time the first few weeks? This is what, week 2 of Pittsburgh now?
Yeah.
Do we have another team that like kind of sucks? That like the Giants, or the
Jets.
The Jets, the Giants have been on primetime a bunch. So there's a bunch of candidates to be the Denver Broncos of this year, where by like week 8, people were like, oh my God, enough of this team that's terrible. I don't know if Pittsburgh's any good.
I don't know either. It's concerning for someone who was big on Pittsburgh. I don't think so either. And yet, I don't think they should be dogs in this game. As Geoff tells us over and over again, the Raiders do not have any home field advantage. The Steelers are better than the Steelers are better than the Raiders, and yet the Raiders are laying points. I think the Steelers should be laying 1.5. So we'll take Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, I'm going to take Vegas in this game, Geoff, only to be contrarian, because I don't think anyone is lining up to bet Vegas in this game. And he keeps saying this. You say that they have no home field advantage, and well, I don't remember you saying that, but inside the stadium, you might be right, but I just think that playing in Vegas and living there is a huge advantage over teams coming into Vegas for like 2 nights. You're going to get yourself in trouble.
Maybe they don't got an offensive line. The other team has TJ Watt. I'm going to pick the Steelers in this game at home.
Yeah, who's not picking the Steelers, apparently, besides me? Doesn't that seem like a strange line?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the Steelers have looked bad for 2 weeks. I get why the Raiders aren't getting are laying some points, but I just can't right now.
Apparently, the 2 EPA defenses the Steelers have played have been very good.
All right. Well, can you explain to me and the audience, Geoff, what that means?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to pretend.
Okay.
They're just they've played good defenses in the first 2 games, so maybe their offense isn't horrible yet versus like most of the league, which is median or worse defenses.
Okay.
That's really what I'm trying to say. You hope if you're a Pittsburgh team, they got all that offseason hype. I'm still really down on Vegas though in its totality for the year. So I'll stick to my preseason consensus on both these teams, and it makes it an easy pick.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to look really ridiculous when Pittsburgh just runs train on these guys on Sunday night. I was like, oh, this was the easiest game on the board. Like, if you're going to take Pittsburgh here, I almost feel like it's either super lock or you take the other side, because you just think Pittsburgh's going to kill them because Vegas sucks, or it's just like muddied waters, and for whatever reason, Vegas is favored. They'll win by a field goal. It reminds me of that Vegas-Baltimore game from like Monday Night Football.
Except that was like a 7-point game. But yeah, 7-point spread.
It was, but just all of a sudden Vegas shows up and they're just going toe-to-toe with Lamar all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, it could happen.
And I guess as the point I was trying to make is that people still think Pittsburgh's offense could be good, but those other defenses, like this is such a step down in talent on the defense they're playing, then maybe they will light it up.
Maybe, but I mean, let's not pretend like Cleveland has some sort of good offense.
Yeah, no, I'm strictly talking about Kenny Pickett, I guess, in that sense.
Okay. I mean, listen, Vegas probably is not as bad as they looked last week against Buffalo, and you could kind of finagle it if you want to go on preseason priors that Denver and Buffalo both have top 10 defenses. They probably don't, but coming into the year, that was kind of the common expectation of those two teams.
You could finagle it to your Raiders bet simply by saying, what a that's a horrible spot game. Who cares about last week? The Bills in their home opener, off an embarrassing loss. Like they were DOA before that game started. And I'm mad that I flip-flopped on my super lock. But you could easily talk yourself into this being like last week, not even existing in how you are capping the Raiders.
Yeah, and you could say
I don't think that's crazy.
You know, it's a primetime spot. Pittsburgh is on a short week in a pretty brutal game against, physical at least, against the Browns, that they have travel across the country to play in primetime in Vegas. Like, I think there are factors working against the Steelers here.
Minka could be hurt too, right?
Yeah, they said he's okay with his chest injury. I thought that I read that earlier today. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but he's not like hurt. He was released from hospital after undergoing testing from a chest injury. So I don't know if he's going to play, but he could potentially play in this game. Monday Night Football. Philly at Tampa. Tampa's a 5-point dog at home. Really interesting to me because this feels a lot like the Pittsburgh-Vegas game, which is on a kind of a grander scale because I think that Tampa is better than Vegas. Obviously, I think that Philly is better than Pittsburgh. But the Eagles, like the Chiefs, they put up points, but they really haven't been super impressive. And that hasn't mattered as of yet. And I don't know if that's a good thing for them or a bad thing for them. And that's what I'm having the hardest time coming to grips with.
I will defend it by saying it's not a bad thing. Outside of the Kansas City Chiefs, we've seen so many teams struggle with the Super Bowl hangover, get out of the gate slow. They seem to, season started maybe a little sluggish, but they got the wins. And last week, when they needed, when that game got close enough where they needed the drive, they dismantled Minnesota in that moment. So I'm not concerned.
Okay, so you're taking Philly +5 or -5 on the road then?
Yes.
Okay. So am I. I think Philly's going to crush them. The line is way too short. Super amount of rest coming off a Thursday night game where I didn't think they had their best, but Tampa's still a fraudulent team in my opinion. Baker on Monday night. I think so.
Why though?
Baker on Monday night. I don't trust their quarterback. I don't trust their head coach. Put those two things together, I think it's a problem.
But they're in the NFC South, so they're not
tonight. But Monday night it's against an Eagles team, which is all systems go. I don't think they have the horses to stop Philadelphia.
Well, you once
Tampa's
told me
going to be playing meaningful games all year.
You once told me that Todd Bowles was the best defensive mind in football.
I think he has a decent defensive mind, but I just don't think he's a great head coach.
The defense has been pretty good, although it's hard to judge because they played Minnesota and they played Chicago. So it's all right.
We'll see when they go up against. Exactly. When they go up against Philly, we'll see.
Yeah, I really want to take Tampa, but I will take Philly here because I'm going to take the dog in the other game, the other Sunday night game. I'm going to take the Rams over the Bengals here. I think the Bengals are going to start 0-3 because I get the impression that Joe Burrow is not playing in this game. The spread would start to assume that as well because the Bengals are only now 2-point favorites at home on Monday Night Football. 44.5 is the over-under. You might get Kurt Browning the son, whatever the hell this dude's name is, playing quarterback for the Bengals. Like, real bad for your fantasy team, Tim.
Yeah, my keeper league team all hinges on Chase and Burrow. Not good. Not looking good. I don't care if Burrow plays. I want the Rams here. I want the Rams. Rams have impressed me. Been one of the most impressive teams through 2 weeks, even with a tough loss against they and Dallas are the class of the NFC, and they hung with them most of the way. Even though San Francisco clearly had the lead the whole way and was going to win, they stayed in touch right down to the end. I don't know how many teams are going to do that.
They didn't do that though, because we talked.
They stayed in touch. They stayed in touch. Yeah, it was never going to be a rout.
Yeah, that's not true. They made one.
How many teams can even do that?
I don't know, but the game should have been over 20 minutes beforehand, and the Niners should have been up by 17.
Yeah, but they didn't. So Anyway, the Bengals are hurting and in a bad spot and may not have their quarterback, and if he plays, it won't be 100%. And yeah, I like the Rams to win this Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, the Rams might not have their quarterback, and if they do, he's going to be banged up, and they've looked abysmal since Joe Burrow's been hurt, and they can't block anyone, Jeff, which is a real problem when Aaron Donald's coming at you.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little surprised. I thought I might be the only one on the Rams here, but I guess I'm not shocked that we're all on the Rams. I don't know. This Burrow thing kind of makes it an easy pick at the moment, too, for me.
Yeah, well, what if they announce Burrow's playing? What do you think the spread goes back up to? Because now it's like kind of, they're saying nothing.
Burrow's,
I mean, maybe 3.5. Obviously, 6.5 was the wrong number. They hung that and they got bet down to oblivion. So it never gets back there, but maybe 3.5.
Well, I don't think it got bet down to oblivion. I think they opened it at 6.5. Then that Schefter report came out that Burrow might not play, or the Rappaport report, whatever one it was. And then the spread immediately changed. Because everyone just assumed Burrow was playing, and they'd be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I think the Rams are still going to be the trendy side, so I don't think it can get back up to where it was. But I guess if it gets above 4, then it could float forever. But
yeah, because after the game, Zach Taylor came out and said that if there was one more drive and the Bengals got the ball back, if they had made that stop against Baltimore, that Joe Burrow was going to go back in the game, which kind of made everyone feel like, oh, he's fine, don't worry about it. But now, even if he does play, obviously there's obviously a huge concern about his availability, whether he plays or not at this point, even if he does play, and everyone is kind of acknowledging that he's not 100%. So I don't think that it would get to 4 and then kind of go crazy. I think you're right. 3.5, 4 would probably be it might even be 3. Yeah. I just don't know who wants to back a banged up, gimpy Joe Burrow who's looked bad through 2 weeks anyway. Not good for my Super Bowl pick, I'll put you that way.
It's all setting up for the Dolphins, I tell you.
yeah, and it's looking good.
Do you think that all quarterbacks are going to take judo training in the offseason next year?
Maybe they should.
All right, let's get to Survivor and the Superlocks of the week. Tim, you're 2-0 in the Superlocks. Who are you taking as your Superlock?
Dolphins minus 6.5.
Boy, look at you.
You are such a devil. You are.
What? I don't want Denver to win. I don't want Denver to cover.
No, you are deep diving this. I don't believe that you hate Denver more than you hate the Dolphins.
Right now I do, till it stops amusing me.
Your life will be way more like if Denver
can worry
wins,
about that later. I can worry about that later. Right now, Denver being embarrassed.
I don't believe what you're doing. I think there's a
I think the Dolphins are going to crush them. So,
where are you going, Jeff, with your Superlock?
What did we play the Chargers game at?
1. Vikings by 1.
Vikings were -1, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to play my Superlock as the New England Patriots.
New England -3 against the Jets.
Forgot about that goddamn 3 points.
So are you going to take it or not?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to go Thursday night. I'm going to take the Niners -10 just to beat the absolute shit out of the Giants. That's where I want to be this week. I just don't think that the Giants have anything to contribute in that game. I watch them win. I'm also going to take San Francisco in Survivor as well this week. You guys?
Have I used Dallas?
Last week you used Philadelphia, so no, you have not used Dallas.
Dallas for me, please.
Taking a road team in Survivor, huh?
No, we're into week 3 now. I can do that.
Yeah, it's 50-50 from here on out. That's what we heard. Jeff?
Yeah, it's obviously between those two teams, and I'll piggyback Tim here setting up Pat's victory.
So you're going to take Dallas? I mean, the move would honestly be like if you, because like there was the people that used Washington week 1, and that came down.
People will use the Jags this week.
That's the thing. The Jags are the clear like super favorite choice. And they are a super favorite in that game. They're 9.5-point favorites, but that would be the play, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't
You've
like it.
only gotten eliminated if you've tried to get cute
Yes.
Yeah.
so far.
That is correct. So take Cincinnati this week if you want a favorite to put on there to get real risky. Last game of the week, and who knows who's playing quarterback. That's the move. So San Francisco, Dallas. And to recap your free money 6.5-point teaser, Buffalo pick'em, Miami pick'em, Baltimore -1, Seattle through 0 to a 0.5 point, and then Dallas down to -5.5. That's it.
That's it. Plus 350.
That's only plus 350.
Yeah.
Try some.
If that Chargers game gets back to a pick'em, you guys should all bet the teaser. Take 7 on both sides. They should pay you before the game starts.
I always think that's when Tim was talking about something new that he was going to do. I thought he was going to pick 2 games he thought were going to be close and tease them both ways. The 14-point teaser both ways, or whatever the hell those ones are that like pay nothing, but people love to do in the playoffs. All right, that'll do it. On the Pat Mayo experience, worth noting, Cust is now 0 for 2 on the year for his free money picks and brings him to 21 and 122. You're back below 100 games below 500 on these ones.
Well, time to start digging up.
Got to dig up on these. So hopefully you can get a win this week, and it saves you for a little while more as we make the run for 200 games under 500 at this point. Anyway, that will do it on the Pat Mayo experience. I'd like to thank the Coin and Paul, Geoff, and Tim Undercust.
Tim Andergust.
That is not my name.
For being here today. Tim, thank you for your tips on screen mirroring. And maybe sometimes people can tell you how to use the apps on your TV so you don't even have to think about this stuff.
I think some people are going to find that news helpful.
Well, let's see. Let's see what the poll is at. You were doing pretty well early on. You were winning earlier on in the poll. Says someone commented, "My man has a new PS4. This does not surprise me." Let's see. Yeah, it's 83% to 16%. Tim?
All right. Perfect.
No. That's a super majority as far as
It
teams
is.
concerned.
That's a sizable contingent.
although
Basically 1 in 5.
Many people are commenting that we know what Cust is discussing today, and that people are only, and like the comments are just people are voting because they know the other side is Tim, and no one would think this. So it must be nice, Tim, that you have this like built-in ground support that people are just going to blindly support you no matter what.
It's very, very encouraging.
Because not one person has actually replied. One person replied, "Not a clue, don't know what it is." And they also say that they're a parody account. So
Yeah. So
that was the one person with you is a proclaimed parody account.
Yeah, but Tim's
I will see.
bots probably could have been voting there too.
That's true. Well, no, Tim's on the show. He didn't make his. Are you going to order that food now or what?
No, I'm actually not very hungry this evening.
Sure.
Yeah,
you're
really.
starving.
You're not going to.
We'll do it next week. Let's do it next week. And then we can have like a week to build it up on the show.
No,
See something
call
that people
right
look
now.
forward to.
Right
Order
now.
dinner.
Yeah,
no,
that-
I don't want to. I'm not hungry. I'm not going to eat.
I'm offering
You're
to
not-
pay for it.
Yeah, you're not. He's offering
I'm
to
not
pay for
hungry.
it
I'm not
right
gonna do
now.
it.
Because you
No,
are
you're
too
not
fucking
even
scared to
paying
do
for
it.
it.
Do
It's
it right
not
now.
fair.
I'll do
You
it
said
next
you
week.
said
I'll
you
do it
said
next week.
you said you were going to do it. Stop being a fucking liar.
I'll do it next week.
Put it on speakerphone and order whatever you want. Jeff's paying for
No,
it.
I'm not putting anyone on speakerphone. That's not fair. They don't know they're on a podcast. That's not fair.
No, you're not incriminating them.
I'm not doing that. We'll do it next week. I'll call.
No, you're not. You're
somebody
putting them on
next week,
fucking
but I won't do
speakerphone, or we're gonna think you're putting them on speakerphone,
No.
or you're not actually doing it.
I'm not going to put anyone on speakerphone.
Well, then you're
I
not.
refuse
Then
to
you
do
won't actually call anyone. This is the only way to hold
No,
you
we're not
accountable.
prank calling them. We're not.
Well-
It's not. As long as you actually order the meal, we are not doing anything wrong by having them take.
No,
the
I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
I will. As long as I can hear them on the other end and hear you put in the order, then I will take their audio out of it. But if we can't hear the other side of that conversation, I'm just going to assume you're lying and not actually
Well,
doing it.
if I then send a picture like 20 minutes later with the thing,
Or you could have called your
Like, wouldn't
dad to
that be
order
proof?
you the food by that point.
Tim, you sound
No.
scared.
You sound really scared. Just do it right now.
I'm not going to.
Stop being scared. They want your
No,
business.
no, I'm not going to do
Won't
it. to
even
someone else.
support. You won't even help get money into our local economy, Tim, from someone from far away.
Nope, won't do
It's a
it.
delight. Isn't that your favorite junk pizza?
It
Come
is
on.
good, but no, I'm not doing it.
Paul,
No,
there's got no Chinese food. Come on.
no, I'm not doing it.
Send you some chicken balls.
No.
I
Good,
got him some chicken balls on Sunday. It's pretty
Yeah, it was
pathetic.
nice.
Like this is bad. This is serial killer shit right here. You won't do this.
You are actually afraid.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, this isn't like you don't want to make a bet afraid. This is like in your voice, you're actually afraid.
I'm okay. We're good.
He's offering to pay for you.
I know that's very kind, but we're good.
You can screen
not
me-
even
you
food.
can
Can you
screen
call-
mirror
can
the
you book an
conversation.
appointment?
You can listen. You can screen mirror the conversation onto your TV
No.
if it makes you feel better.
Thank you. Yeah. No, we're done.
Can you call a store and ask if they have something?
No, I'm not putting anybody on speakerphone. I refuse to do it.
No, Pat told you.
I don't care. I won't do it. I won't do it.
So are we
They
to
don't know.
believe that
They
you're
don't know.
just not eating tonight because you're too shook?
I'm not hungry.
We
I'm
know
good.
that you're gonna fucking eat. Come on.
No, I'm not hungry. I'm good.
When was the last time you ate?
I had lunch.
So you ate 7 hours ago at this point, and you want people to believe you're not gonna eat again today.
No, I'm not hungry. I'll eat tomorrow.
This is a new low, even for you.
I
Anyway.
said some really dumb things apparently in this show.
Yeah, you want to pretzel yourself inside of a fucking NFL owner or something to massage him or something like that. Something real weird.
No, oh god, I don't need. But whatever. I can make phone calls. I book appointments for children, for myself, for dogs. I order food. I don't know what we're voting on here.
It is very thin. I think he had a panic attack. He had to get off the line.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's gonna
Good.
claim his phone broke.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
He's too busy screen mirroring it. It doesn't work to talk anymore if that ends up happening. I like that you didn't know that you could do it with your computer. You
I
thought
don't
it
think
was-
my computer has that.
How about this, Tim? You're on your Mac right now?
Yes.
Take your cursor and go up to the very top and bring down the top menu that's there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see next to like the Siri button at the very top, right? You have the date, you have the time, you have the Siri like rainbow colored
Yeah.
button. The one next to that,
Yeah.
click that.
Screen mirroring. Okay, there it is.
And it's been there.
Good to know.
For have you
Did
ever
not know that.
have you ever clicked that button before?
Yes, because that's how you get your Wi-Fi.
No, you can click on the Wi-Fi button for that.
Oh, well, anyway, I never saw the screen mirroring before.
Even though it says screen mirroring.
Yeah, it does say that. I just never noticed it.
Maybe you can get Chat GPT to make this order for you. The thing is, we're not going to believe you if we don't hear someone on the other line.
Well, I understand, but I'm not going to do it.
So you're just straight up refusing to order food at this point. You're too scared.
Okay.
to
I mean, you
order
can
food.
watch
order
me. You
dinner
can
for
watch
my-
somebody on the. You can watch me on the live show order something. You'll know my phone is on. You'll know it's real.
Can you order dinner for me right now? How about I
No.
give you a
Yeah,
No,
that,
I
that,
won't
that,
do it.
that is perfect.
No, I'm not going to do it. That's not going to happen.
What?
Jeff promises
You're
he
being
will eat again
difficult.
today.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm
You're
good.
not being fair.
I said to Pat on Sunday night, I would call someone live and like. he'd
You
be able
also
to
said
see
an
I was on a
hour
real
ago
phone
that
call.
you would do it on this show. So how can we believe you?
Not if I have the if it's not on speakerphone, I won't do it.
Well, then don't do it on speakerphone. Turn on your camera. Let's see it.
No, I don't want to turn my camera. I'm not. We'll do it.
So
Sunday. We will
for
do it Sunday.
for any reason that would be verifiable whatsoever, you won't do.
I guess that's how it looks. I appreciate that, but that's how I feel.
Paul,
We're gonna make French fries in the air fryer. So then, what Tim would do is he's gonna eat the French fries out of the air fryer and then say he's not hungry again.
No, I'll
And
call
he's just gonna
live
keep
on
pushing
Sunday.
this
That I will
back
do. You'll
that he's
see
never
I'm on the
actually
phone.
gonna end up calling
You'll see
somebody
I'm
to
on the
order
phone.
food.
You'll see I'm
And
on the
your
phone.
live call Sunday.
He's never eating
like,
again.
You're not just ordering one pizza. Like, I need you to order. It needs to be an extensive order.
yeah, with changes.
Okay. All right. I'll do this. You'll see I'm on the phone Sunday. You can verify it that way.
Okay. Tune in Sunday,
All
where
right.
Tim's gonna make some fries in the air fryer and pretend to have a conversation. He's gonna be practicing this all week to try to get the cadence down, like there's actually someone.
I'll
on
even
the
let
other
you
line.
dial the number and then hand me the phone.
Oh no, I'll put it on speakerphone like this, and you can
No,
stream it across
no
the table.
speakerphone.
Why?
No
Why do you
speakerphone.
care about speakerphone?
I don't want on speaker. I don't want someone else. No, that's not right. That's not right.
Quit being a fucking coward. Do it.
No, I will do it on the phone, but I won't put anyone on speakerphone.
Why
I'll
won't
do
you
it.
put anyone on speakerphone?
It's not right. We're doing anyway.
That's
Okay,
why I
what
told.
about,
That's why I
calling
told you
the
to do it
cable
right
company,
No,
Call the cable company with a question.
no, I don't want to do anything like that. We're good. We're good.
now. It doesn't
Yeah, but
sound
the
like
cable
we're
company,
good.
We're
the cable
good.
company tells you the phone call's
No,
recorded
I
and
get
all
it,
that
but
stuff.
I get it, but no, I don't want to.
Dude, I mean, I think Jeff, I think that he just gained a lot of votes here. Insane person can't use telephone.
I think he's scared. Like you could hear the sound of his voice, Pat, when you try to pressure him into a bet versus this. It's the tone and the nose are very different.
Are you getting this from your minor in psychology at college?
No, I'm getting it from the tone in his voice and the audio levels on the screen,
Oh,
the
interesting.
fake ones
Oh yeah,
that Tim thought were real.
I forgot about that. Or when Cam was talking to the screen, thinking that Tim was in it.
Yeah, that did happen.
All right, well, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Rate and review, share the show around. There's going to be a new newsletter coming out after. Actually, that's how you're going to get the secret link to the Best Bet show. We'll be subscribing to the newsletter. That's the new secret link for this year. We'll be filming that on Wednesday with Cam and Rob. But until then, I'm Pat Mayo. We'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!